The leader agrees to one last save, but warns him to chill. Suddenly, someone bursts in, shoving a phone in everyone's faces. Oh my god, it is all gone. Fifi, if you are annoyed by what she did, just say so. Relax and tell us what exactly is gone. She starts rattling off like a machine gun. All that bad press from the last few days, all those stories trashing the Chu family, they just vanished into thin air. Min Kai is hooked now. Who in all of China actually has the muscle to wipe the internet clean like that? Wang Tran just sits there looking chill, repeating her question. Who indeed? Fifi looks like she just realized something huge. But he just plays dumb with the ladies. Hey, you said it, not me. I did not say a word. He is already planning his next move, using Tong Kai Hoa to crack open the Tu family. Later, at the police station, he's waiting in a luxury ride. Lu Huyen walks out the front doors looking like she has been through the ringer. Seeing a familiar face, she just breaks down. The tears start flowing and she starts sobbing. Vuong Tran just watches quietly. She asks, where is Sister Than Fai? Why is she not here? He tells her she is busy and it is just him today. Lu Huyen wipes her eyes and finally smiles. Vuong Tran, seriously, thank you for everything. He can feel her gratitude. So, how are you going to pay me back? Just do not think about offering yourself up as a reward, because I am saying no. She shoots him a look. You are never serious, are you? I owe more people than just you anyway. Come on, let us go. To celebrate your freedom, dinner is on me. They keep talking in the car about Chu Fong. What is the plan? Vuong Tran says guys like that only stop when you give them a real beating. As he drives, Lu Huyen is skeptical. You would really hit him? Definitely. Being that ugly and still trying to mac on girls? If I do not give that guy some forced plastic surgery, I will never hear the end of it. He pulls over at a roadside spot to grab a bite. Over lunch, Lu Xuan couldn't hide his shock at the insane torture Wang Zheng pulled off. Meanwhile, Wang kept a totally straight face, acting all smug like it was no big deal. He even had the nerve to ask if he looked like a bad guy. Lu Xuan just glared. Of course it's cruel, man. You whipped him until he could barely stay awake, then covered him in pepper water. How is the guy supposed to even close his eyes like that? Should he sleep standing up? Wang Zheng casually added that the guy couldn't stand, because he whipped the soles of his feet too. She lost it, laughing historically at how ruthless he was. Just then, he got an urgent call from Thi. Following her orders, he stood up and told her he had business to handle. He told her to get home solo and call him if needed. Minutes later, he was racing back toward the Shangwen mansion. Besides Wang Zhuang's four-door car, there was a flashy convertible on the road. He pulled off a smooth drift to overtake it. The driver was Jing Lang, who was totally stunned by the stunt. He wondered where this crazy person who had no fear of death came from. Looking at Tin Lang, he thought to himself that's the second son of the eldest Shangguan brother, afraid of what's next. As soon as Wang Zheng walked in, Diem Vu looked totally pissed. Who the hell are you? She snapped. But he didn't give a damn, just closed his eyes and kept walking. Being completely ignored, she screamed at him at the top of her lungs. This is Shangguan family business. No outsiders allowed. If you're smart, you'll get lost right now. Finally, he looked her way. I'm just the bodyguard for. The rest of the Shangguan family treated him like a total joke, laughing like absolute maniacs. Diem Vu's hatred for him was hitting its peak. Luckily, Shithi stepped in right as the tension boiled over. Wang Zheng, you finally made it. Get up here right now. Seeing the opening, Tin Lang joined the rest of the family to pressure her. Hold it right there. Shithi, why are you dragging a bodyguard around? You really think this kid can cure Uncle 3? That is freaking hilarious. Diem Vu crossed her arms, looking annoyed. Shithi, take some advice. Don't let some random outsider snake their way in while things are this messy. Hearing the venom in her voice, Shithi snapped back. My dad is barely hanging on and you're already talking about the inheritance? Are you serious right now? Wang Zheng, let's go upstairs. Jia Zheng lay motionless on the bed. Shithi looked terrified as she begged him for help. Wang Zheng, check on him. We just had some famous top-tier specialists in here. They did blood work and tests but couldn't find a single thing, so I kicked them out. He grabbed the man's wrist to get a clear pulse. Pulse is normal. Heartbeat is steady, but he's out cold like he's in a coma. What is this? Right then, Jia Lam walked in, treating Wang Zheng like dirt. What could a kid like this possibly know? If he can actually diagnose Jia Zheng, I'll give him 1 billion. If not, he needs to get out fast. Shithi turned to him, looking desperate. What's the verdict? Tell me what you found. He dropped the bombshell. I think there's a good chance he's been poisoned. Shithi stared at him, stunned. Poisoned? How is that even possible? He shook his head. I'm not sure. I've never seen anything like this, but it's definitely not a normal sickness. I'm 80% sure your father's been poisoned, though I can't name the toxin yet. Jia Lam immediately snapped back. What are you basing that theory on? He didn't say much, just pulled an acupuncture needle from his kit. Watch this. Then, he pressed the needle into a point on Jia Zhang's hand. Jia Lam still wasn't buying it. What's that little needle supposed to do? Thai. You really brought some random fake doctor to treat your father? Do you want him to die even sooner? Thai shook her head, clearly fuming. Uncle Tu, how can you even say something so cruel right now? You're the one who wants him gone. As long as my dad is around, you'll never inherit the head of the house. Their heated argument was suddenly cut short by Jia Te. Stop this noise. This is no way to behave. He arrived carrying a very important announcement. Every single shareholder of Kudung International is meeting tomorrow morning to decide the future of the company. It was all just a cold power struggle between the Shangguan family members. She saw it clearly now. Uncle, what exactly are you trying to do here? My father is lying right there on his deathbed, and you guys are already carving up the family inheritance? If Grandpa ever found out about this, it would absolutely break his heart. She hoped that would move him, but he didn't care. He just snapped back at her. How dare you speak to your elders like that? You have zero respect. Also, don't you dare mention your father's condition to your grandfather. He's too old for this drama. One by one, the rest of the family walked out. Only Shi and Wang Zheng were left in the room. She started crying, feeling totally helpless. He stayed completely calm, trying to comfort her. Don't worry, I'm here. Just give me a little more time, and I promise I will find a way to save your father. Later on, at the city convention center, Aileen was trying to talk Shi into dropping out of the big family election. Look, Shi, even if we put it to a vote, your eldest uncle has the upper hand. Why are you putting yourself through all this stress? Puffing on a cigar, Jia Lam poured gas on the fire, trashing his own niece. I think she's just obsessed with becoming the head of the house. I never realized someone so young could be this greedy. If she keeps this up, the whole family is doomed. But she wasn't backing down that easily. I'm not quitting. My father left everything to me, and I'm going to manage it all properly until the day he finally wakes up. Jia Lam didn't believe a word of it. Whether he even wakes up is a huge question mark. Stop wasting everyone's time here. Suddenly, he kicked the door open and marched in, his eyes locking onto Shi immediately. She managed a weak smile, even though her eyes were brimming with tears. Seeing Wang Zheng made Jia Lam absolutely blow a fuse. Where did this stray dog come from? Get him out of here right now. But he didn't even flinch. I am not some rich heir or a Shangguan son-in-law. I am simply Shi's bodyguard. A bodyguard doesn't let his boss get bullied. I don't care about your business games, but if she sheds one single tear, I am going to break your hands. Even after that, Jia Lam wouldn't listen. He started screaming like a lunatic. Security, get this guy out of here now. In a flash, Wang Zheng pulled a knife and slammed it into the table. With a stone-cold expression, his voice boomed through the room, leaving everyone stunned. Do not doubt for a single second that I will follow through on my word. A bit later, Shi stood up and spoke firmly. That's how it's going to be. While my father is recovering, I'm taking charge of everything at Kudung International. I expect your cooperation. If there's nothing else, we're done. The board members shuffled out under her icy stare. Once they were gone, she turned to Wang Zheng with a softer look. Was I too hard on them? I mean, they're technically my elders, but how could he trust such selfish people? He replied, even if you went easy on them, they wouldn't show you any mercy. Believe me. That's the business world for you. It's more brutal than an actual war zone. I'd rather charge a trench than deal with these corporate snakes. Shi rolled her eyes. Please, I think your mind is darker than all of theirs combined. Wang Zheng, you've done so much for me, and I'm always so cranky and rude to you. He didn't miss the chance to tease her. Don't sweat it. How could I stay mad at a girl with such an irregular cycle? She exploded in a rage. You are so dead today. Later, Shi sat alone, thinking about her relative's schemes to hijack the Kudung group in such a short time. Plus, some of those board members were totally unpredictable and dangerous. This was going to be a nightmare. She turned to Wang Zheng. Grandpa has been secluded for years, and now Dad gets sick at the worst possible time. Wang Zheng, I really need your help. He thought back on her family's history. Shangguan Yingzhan spent 30 years building Kudung, but as soon as he named his third son the heir, he suddenly went into hiding. Time proved his judgment was spot on. Under Jia Zhang's leadership for over 20 years, Kudung International saw massive growth. But now, could Shi really handle all this insane pressure on her own? Even he was starting to feel overwhelmed by all the drama. He rubbed his temples, thinking. First, it was the poisoning when they met, and now her father has been poisoned too. There's just too much going on. I need to find some actual clues. For now, you stay at the office. I'll have Zhang Yang protect you so I can catch a break. Seeing his effort, Shi wondered if there was some secret deal between him and her father. He definitely needed time to dig into the truth. She looked at him and nodded. All right, thank you so much. Wang Zheng stands up to leave, but Thitty calls him back. He's confused. Blushing, she shyly tells him that if he ever needs the backing of the Shangwen family, he should just ask. I will use every resource at our company to help you get the job done. Plus, I know for a fact you're the only one who can save my father. Hearing that, he holds up 3 fingers with total confidence. Honestly, this sudden kindness is kind of weirding me out. Oh, and point number 3, I'll definitely fix those irregular periods of yours too. Thitty crosses her arms totally lame. Later at the airport, Katie and Dong Tung arrive. Some punk kid sneers at them, muttering that without KAU Rivers here, this HK Empire stuff is just a joke. But with just one look, Dong Tung has the kid shaking in his boots. Seeing the drama, Katie tells him to dial it back. Chill out, Kwong, you're literally traumatizing the poor kid. He looks up at the ceiling like he's dreaming of the States. Then, he shouts out with total ego China, your boy Kwong Dong Tung is finally back in the building. Outside, the crew waits. They walk past Dong Fong, who's waiting outside, fiddling with a cigarette. As soon as he spots Dong Tung, he sprints over and shouts at the top of his lungs. Big brother. Catching the vibe, Katie chirps in. So this is your brother? Wow, total opposites. He looks totally burned out and weak. Plus, it's pretty obvious he's absolutely terrified of you. Dong Fong is stoked to see his brother back. Big brother, you're finally home. But Dong Tung is cold as ice. He stares him down and snaps. Cut the fake smile. Kid, I'm not buying it. I know you're bitter about my return. You trashed our father's business. And yet you still have the nerve to show your face to me today? He just scratches his head and grins awkwardly. Look, brother, it was my idea. Dad wanted me to shadow you and learn the ropes. But Dong Tung has other plans. He crosses his arms and says, don't bother. I already signed you up for a university in Europe. The flight is booked and you're leaving tomorrow. Dong Fong is completely blindsided by the news. Bro, wait, how can you just do that? This is final. Dong Tung sticks to his guns, cold and firm. Dad isn't going to overrule me on this. Besides, once I make a call, nobody changes my mind. Ever. Finally snapping, Dong Fong explodes with anger. By what right do you get to decide my entire life? You'd think that would faze Dong Tung, but he doesn't blink. I don't owe you an explanation. You'll live like a king out there. But if you don't go, don't even think about stepping foot in this family again. Watching the brothers clash, Katie can't help but call him out. Seriously, Kwong, how can you treat your own flesh and blood like that? The poor guy looks totally miserable. Now he basically has nowhere to call home. That's just cold, man. He snaps back, Katie, stay out of my family business. The principal sent you here to assist me, not to ask questions you shouldn't be asking, especially not about what happens in my house. Katie drops it and asks about the next move. Kwong, when are we meeting our allies here in China? He thinks for a second before answering allies, please. As far as I'm concerned, they're just rocks in my way. Dong Tung is convinced the plan is airtight, but Katie isn't sold. You're way too full of yourself. Don't you guys in China have a saying for people like you? Something about humility and progress? Honestly, I don't think I'll ever see you act humble in my entire life. He just keeps walking. Trust me, China's about to get real interesting. You'll love it. Then he reveals the plan, let's go. First, we're paying a little visit to an old buddy of ours. A matte black car pulls up, and Dong Tung steps out like a boss. Tonight, I'm officially home. Inside the club, the music is pumping and the kids are going wild. Kwong, Katie, and 2 henchmen swagger into the lobby. Then, he kills the vibe with one simple, cold-hearted command, smash the place. David and Mark nod instantly, ready to go. A waiter standing nearby catches their drift and his jaw drops. He's looking at them with pure, unadulterated terror. A second later, David hoists the guy into the air with both hands. The waiter screams, helpless. Without a word, David launches him into the liquor cabinet. The sound of shattering glass echoes through the entire club. The waiter lies unconscious in a pile of broken bottles and spilled booze. When the crowd sees the carnage, they lose it. People are bolting for the exits, screaming their heads off in total chaos. Right then, the manager, Hong Ba, pushes through the panicked crowd. He looks furious. He winds up and throws a massive punch at David, letting out a war cry to pump himself up. Katie watches, impressed. David just stands there, staring Hong Ba down with a blank face. Then, he delivers a counter punch that makes the manager's hit look like a joke. Hong Ba is sent flying backwards several meters. He groans, clutching his chest and coughing up a mouthful of blood. Before he can even process what happened, a heavy boot slams right onto his face, pinning him to the floor. The guy behind the boot is Dong Tung. He presses down even harder, his voice cold as ice as he delivers a warning. Tell Li Minhao that he doesn't run this city's underworld alone anymore. Later, Minhao walks into his club, only to find the place trashed. He rushes over to where Hong Ba is lying in agony on the ground. Seeing the mess, he's livid and demands to know who's responsible. Hong Ba is a sobbing mess, apologizing for failing his boss. Min Hao doesn't waste time, get to the hospital. Blood will be paid with blood. Early morning sunlight filters through the large glass windows of the hospital hallways. He sits by Hong Ba's bed, demanding the full story. The guy doesn't hide anything. He reports 3 men, 1 woman, and 2 white guys who were absolute monsters. I only took 4 hits, boss. My ribs are toast, boss. The guy said to tell you the capital's underworld isn't just your playground anymore. Min Hao is visibly shaken. Foreign pros? Since when? Are they coming for me? He takes a breath and tries to keep his cool. Don't worry about it. Just focus on healing up. I promise you, whatever you lost today, I'm going to get it back 10 times over. Elsewhere, in a high-rise, Tinda holds up a dress and bugs her friend. Thidi, does this look good on me? There's a party tonight, you in? Thidi can't handle the noise and snaps at her assistant. Get me a cage and lock her in it before I lose my mind. Suddenly, her phone rings. The voice on the other end makes her blood boil. What? A blind date? Dad, seriously, what is going through your head? Your daughter is still way too young. Why are you so desperate to marry me off already? Her dad stays calm and gives an ultimatum. Get home now, or I'm sending your mother to drag you back. But Tinda isn't about to fold that easily. Oh, so now you're bringing up mom? Everyone knows you're whipped, Dad. You act like a big-shot hero outside, but you're a total kitten the second you walk through the door. He jumps out of his chair, absolutely livid. How dare you talk to your father like that? You better be home by tomorrow morning, no excuses. Otherwise, I'm sending the crew to haul you back here. Panicked, she turns to her bestie for help. What do I do? My dad is totally losing it. Thidi just smirks and teases her. What's the rush? What if this guy is actually your dream husband? You two might just hit it off. Tinda pouts, totally annoyed by the idea. No way. I'm not ready for that. I still want to have fun. I am way too young to be tied down. Thidi, seriously, you have to help me out. Thidi finally gets real. Look, you're only 20. Why is your dad in such a rush to marry you off? Tinda is totally confused. That's the thing. He's always spoiled me. I have no idea what's gotten into him. Suddenly, Tinda gets a bright idea. She looks up, feeling a bit more hopeful. I mean, it's just a blind date, right? So if things do not go our way, we just end it, right? Morning sunlight spills down from a crystal clear sky, hitting the house where it all starts. Wang Tran sits there reading in silence, letting out a massive, bored sigh. Man, if only I could reach that old guy right now. No clue where that geezer is wandering off to these days. He flashes back to saluting the man who sent him to play bodyguard for Thi. Was it all connected to that disaster years ago? The old man sat there, dead serious, telling him not to reach out. I will find you when there is a mission. Back to reality. He slams the book shut, half annoyed and half worried. Where the hell are you, old man? Better not go dying on me. Suddenly, the door handle rattles and someone starts shoving their way inside the room. Tinda pops in with a sugary sweet call. He shuts her down immediately. Save the sweet talk. You are being way too sketchy and it is getting on my nerves. Just spit it out already. What do you want? She circles behind him, hands on his shoulders, laying the flattery on thick. Tran, you look exhausted. Let me help you work out those knots and relax. He plays along for a second. All right then, you have got 30 minutes. Make it count. Thi catches them and starts cracking up. Tinda finally drops the act and gets real with him. Okay, fine, Tran, look. I am being serious now. I actually have something I need your help with. Morning light hits the window, making the greenery outside look peaceful. Once he hears the story, he nearly jumps out of his skin. Wait, what? You want me to play your fake boyfriend? No way. Absolutely not. She puts her hands together, looking totally desperate and pleading. Tran, please. I am out of options. My dad is forcing me into this blind date and I am just not having it. I do not want to get married. Just play along tomorrow. He looks at Thi for help, thinking to himself that her mother is a total dragon. Walking into that house is like jumping into a pit of lions. He might not survive. Thi just shakes her head, totally useless. When he does not answer, Tinda goes for the jugular. If you do not go, I will tell my mom I am pregnant with your baby. And you know how her temper is. Tran throws his hands up, totally defeated. Fine, Miss Han, you win this round. I will do it. But if your parents start shooting, you better block the shots. Seriously, should I wear a bulletproof vest or something? The Han family mansion stands out in brown and white under the blazing afternoon sun. Thien Bin and Baek Hugh are perched on the sofa looking formal. He kicks things off. Look, Han, we came here with Timin because we want him to meet Tinda. They are the same age, so I figured I would suggest a match. The mother sits across from them, grinning ear to ear. She's already sold on the guy. I like your boy, Thien Min. He has got those bright, sharp eyes. Not only is he talented, but he is a real standout among his peers. Having Tinda marry someone like Tamin would give me such peace of mind. He speaks up, finally being honest. Honestly, I have had a secret crush on her for years now, but I never knew how she felt about me. Yen Than reassures him instantly. Why would she object? Tinda has always been such a good, obedient girl. Besides, who could not like a guy like you? Kwok takes a sip of tea, trying to act cool, but he cannot hide the massive grin on his face. If we can settle this marriage, my father would be thrilled. She beams at them, testing the waters. Is this actually what Mr. Tu wants? Then she thinks to herself, if he is happy, this deal is definitely going through. It is a done deal. Becoming in-laws with a top political family in China means their future is basically set in stone. She turns to nag her husband about why their daughter is late. She is getting so irresponsible. Let me call her. Suddenly, an angry dog starts barking, shattering the silence. He jumps up to warn them. Me dog is back. Watch out, that dog is a beast and he will bite strangers. Bao Kwok walks in, struggling with the dog barking its head off at the door. He leans down and gently pets its head to calm it. All right, that is enough noise. They are all family, old friend. You need to rest. You are getting up there in years and you still have such a nasty temper. Seeing this, Thien Min rushes over to greet the old man properly. Hello, Grandpa. I am Tu Min. The old man gives him a kind look and nods. Old Tu has a pretty sharp grandson. We are fossils now. The world belongs to you young people today. He looks at the dog, trying to score some points. This dog is clearly brilliant. You must have put a lot of work into training him. That hits the spot. Bao Kwok starts bragging. They have been together 15 years. He is a German shepherd, a service dog he brought home. He was 8 when I saw him and liked him. Raised him for over a year. This dog is my lucky charm. He is alert, but he is definitely not your average pet. He reaches down to stroke the dog's back. His body is covered in scars, but every single one of them is a badge of honor. Thien Min is curious now. Hey Grandpa Han, what did you name this dog? The dog looks happy as can be. Before long, a matte black car pulls up in front of the massive mansion. Inside, Yen Than hears the engine and looks toward the door. That must be Tinda coming home. Sure enough, she bursts through the door and shouts back outside. Tran, hurry up and get in here. Stop hiding behind the door. My grandpa is even here today. He hears this and his jaw literally hits the floor. He is totally speechless. Tran tries to shake off the nerves and act natural. Tinda leans in and whispers seriously. Looks like the date is Thien Min, Tin Yen's brother. That guy next to him is Ba Kwong from the Defense Ministry. You might know him. He is the Deputy Defense Minister, so stay sharp. Tran, make this look real, but do not you dare try anything funny with me. Seeing her daughter walk in with a random guy, Yen Than rushes over to investigate. Tinda, what on earth is going on here? She stands her ground and says it firmly. Mom, this is my boyfriend. He steps up to introduce himself. Hello everyone, Mr. and Mrs. Han, Mr. Tu. My name is Wang Tran. Sorry for showing up so suddenly without a gift. Meanwhile, Long's paws start twitching. The dog turns his head and sees something that leaves him completely stunned. He suddenly kicks off with his back legs and lunges forward. Bao Kwok is just as shocked by the dog's behavior. The beast flies through the air toward Wang Tran, happily crashing right into his arms. Tinda's eyes go wide as she watches the chaos. Thien Min just stays silent, taking it all in. The dog is going wild, licking Tran's face all over. Tran laughs and calls out his name, Long. Memories start flooding back to both of them. He used to be so serious while training him to jump through hoops, but then tragedy struck. He remembers holding a piece of paper, his heart sinking as he read the news. That paper was a list of those who died in the line of duty, and one name stood out clearly. Long. Back in the present, Tran pets the dog he thought was gone forever. He is overjoyed. He just found a member of his family. Watching the reunion, Bao Kwok gets pretty emotional. It is clear that the dog has finally found its real owner after all these years. Thien Min suddenly steps up and salutes, which totally catches Tran off guard. Then the two men from the Tu family head for the door. The old man walks over to ask about the past. Which special forces unit were you in? Tran stands up straight, giving a humble answer. I was mostly just focused on training the dogs, sir. Then he turns to the room. Grandpa, Mr. and Mrs. Han, Tinda. It is time for me to head out. Like he understands every word, Long reaches out a paw to try and stop him from leaving. Tran leans down to comfort his old friend. Stay here. I will come see you later, I promise. Inside, his mind is already racing. Once I finish everything I need to do, I am coming back for you. Hang in there, buddy. I hope you make it until that day. He turns around to leave, leaving Tinda behind, fighting back tears of emotion. She wipes her eyes, her mind made up. She looks at her father and makes a bold announcement. Dad, I want to join the military. Her mom is skeptical and asks if she is actually serious. Are you sure? You are not just trying to dodge the marriage, right? Tinda ignores the jab and gives a firm yes. With no reason left to stop her, her dad gives her his blessing. If you've really thought it through, then go. Nobody wants you carrying the Han family burden alone. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. He quickly came up with a plan and suggested the Ningzhou Military District. After some training, she could attend the National Defense University. He promised not to tell anyone she was a Han, but warned her that she must not embarrass the family name. The sun hit the building's glass, reflecting the beautiful clear sky outside. Thi sat on the sofa, hugging her knees, her mind completely stuck on that girl she loved. I really miss Jingye. I heard she went to the military zone in Ningzhou. I wonder how she's doing. She's been pampered her whole life. Can she even handle that hardship? She didn't even say goodbye to me. Wang Zheng stared out at the city through the glass. His face was dead serious, like he was weighing a massive problem. He noted that they were moving incredibly fast with their work. Wang Zhuang gazed at the skyline and suddenly asked if she knew Shangguan Yunxiao. Thi turned around quickly, asking if he meant the oldest son from the family. Without waiting for an answer, she broke down the whole family tree. Shangguan Jinglang was a total wild card, while Yunxiao was the stable, reliable one. Thi pictured him and marveled at how expensive land was in the capital. Apparently, Yunxiao owned a massive plot and even built a whole farm on it. After hearing those words, he just gave a mocking little smirk. She felt like she had to warn him to stay cautious. Don't let that stable personality fool you. You never know what kind of person he really is behind closed doors. Word on the street is that Jinglang fears absolutely nothing except his older brother. Wang Zhuang just waved it off without a care. Let's go, he said. I heard the second son is throwing a wild party at his mansion. Let's go crash it. Thi was all in and grabbed her bag right away. Let's go, she said. A massive, modern high-rise appeared. It was the home of Shangguan Jinglang. Inside, he was totally living it up with a girl on each arm. When someone interrupted his fun, he lost his cool and started yelling. He marched to the door, wondering who was bold enough to bother him, and checked the people. It turned out to be Shangguan Yunxiao. Jinglang opened the door looking totally confused. His brother held up a white bag, saying he'd raised and killed 2 rabbits, so he brought one over for him. He knew Jinglang hired a 5-star chef. Since he was already there, he wanted to see if the chef's skills were actually worth the hype. Jinglang felt a bit bad but also annoyed. He asked his brother why he went through all that trouble. If he wanted food, he could have just ordered it. Yunxiao turned back sharply, his voice full of suspicion. He said everyone has hobbies, and this was his. Then he asked what Jinglang was doing before he arrived. Caught in the act, Jinglang rubbed his head sheepishly and admitted that was just his thing. He flicked his lighter to start a smoke and moved to the sofa, looking worried. He asked if his brother had any thoughts about Uncle 3 getting sick. He didn't think it was right for an outsider to take that spot. Yunxiao stayed calm and tried to settle him down. We don't know when Uncle 3 will wake up, so don't stress yet. He has worked incredibly hard over the years. Without him, we wouldn't be seeing these massive profits every season. It is a real shame that such a talented man got struck down like this. He frowned deeply, smoke curling around his face as he spoke. If you could take that position, things would change. Yunxiao quickly brushed it off and changed the subject. He told him to get the chef working because he was hungry. Jinglang finally stopped talking and agreed. Yunxiao calmly suggested the 2 girls join them. More people meant more fun. Jinglang's jaw just dropped. A matte black car screeched to a halt in front of the house. Wang Zhuang looked at the massive gates and noted how huge the villa was for just one guy. Thi crossed her arms and guessed that her brother was probably very busy with something inside. He shielded his eyes, looking up at the building. That kind of life was a dream. She smirked at him. You want that too? Wang Zhuang got shy and changed the subject. He wasn't changing his plan. Thi walked over to a yellow convertible and brought up what happened last time. He'd scratched the car he borrowed from the big boss. Since that hit a nerve, he smirked and pulled out a serious weapon. I've been planning this revenge for a while. You know how much he insulted me? Suddenly, she saw something and told him to wait. Her face went dead serious. It looked like Shangguan Yunxiao had arrived. Wang Zhuang got excited, thinking things were about to get interesting. He casually flipped his knife open. Since we're already here, we might as well leave a little souvenir, right? Did you forget what he and your cousin said while your dad was in a coma? As soon as she finished, he threw the knife perfectly into the car's back tire. Wang Zhuang kept at it, carving lines into the car's paint. Thi didn't stop him, she just laughed along. Jinglang walked out and saw his precious car being ruined. He didn't hold back, screaming at her. Shangguan Thi, why can't you control your dog? She wouldn't let her friend be bullied and snapped back, asking who he called a dog. Wang Zhuang just kept on destroying the car, ignoring everything going on around him. Jing Lang pointed right at him and shouted that he was talking about that dog. He said the guy was biting people, and his owner wasn't any better. He warned her to get him a brand new Porsche by tomorrow or he would make sure she lived to regret it. She just shrugged, totally unbothered. Whatever, she said. I'm not paying. Wang Zheng, go ahead and finish that car off. With the green light, he pulled out a massive hammer. I've been waiting for this. He swung it down on the roof, making a deafening crash. Jing Lang started screaming. Yun Xiao stepped out right then and acting friendly. Thi, come inside so we can talk. Surprised to see him, she told Wang Zheng to stop the smashing. Jing Lang started whining to his brother about what she did. He said she came to his house just to trash his favorite car. Since Uncle 3 got sick, nobody's been able to control this brat. She thinks she can do whatever she wants. Yun Xiao kept his cool and gestured toward the house. Come in for a drink. I brought some fresh food from the farm. It's lunchtime, so let's all eat together. He walked over to the two of them and reached out his hand. Hello, I'm Shangguan Yun Xiao. I've heard a lot about Thi's impressive bodyguard. Glad to finally meet you. Wang Zheng tosses his phone aside and goes in for a handshake, acting all polite. I have heard all about the big shot heir of the Shangguan family and that famous farm of yours. Honestly, I am super interested. Mind if I take a look around? Yun Xiao gives a polite smile and agrees instantly. Of course, you are more than welcome. If you do not mind my messy place, we can head over after lunch. I brought some rare flowers from overseas, and they are just about to bloom. Wang Zheng plays it cool and says thanks, but inside, he is impressed. This guy sits on a $1 billion fortune and does not even blink. Either he is genuinely chill or he is a master at hiding his true power. Whether he ends up being a friend or a foe, this guy is a serious player. The four of them head inside. Right at the door, Wang Zheng picks up a heavy scent of female hormones. Definitely more than one or two women in here. She looks totally embarrassed, glancing at herself and letting out an annoyed huff. Everyone sits down to eat, and Wang Zheng starts shoveling food like a beast. She has to hand him a napkin and tell him to slow down before he chokes on his meal. Jing Lang grabbed the chance to snap at her, wondering where this rude brat even came from. Honestly, Thay, do the dogs at your house get to sit at the table and eat dinner too? He kept chewing loudly, refusing to back down. You are right, but I am the ultimate hunting dog. You better hope I do not lock eyes on you, or you will be crippled for life. Van Tiu jumped in to break it up. Jing Lang, knock it off. It is rare for Thi to visit us. Thi, I raised this rabbit myself. Try some and tell me what you think. Wang Zheng noticed how he grabbed his food. He is a southpaw. Thi chimed in to explain that Van Tiu is indeed left-handed. He even wrote with his left hand in school and never changed. Lefties are geniuses, always ranking first in the whole school. Back then, Van Tiu actually had the highest entrance exam scores in the entire capital for high school. He could not help but gape in surprise. Wow, that is impressive. But inside, he was low-key fuming because he absolutely hated high IQ types. She kept rambling on with a look of regret, saying it was a shame he went abroad. If he stayed, he definitely would have topped the college entrance exams. Wang Zheng kept stuffing his face while gossiping. Is not the rural scenery in foreign countries way better than what we have here? A massive farm spanning thousands of kilometers would be incredible. I visited one before, and the cattle there were. Jing Lang leaned on his hand, scoffing. Since when do dogs care about going abroad? Do they travel worldwide? Some kind of doggy paddle for oceans? Wang Zheng did not get mad. He just fired back. You nailed it. I have definitely done that doggy paddle abroad. He acted like he did not even hear those insults. Who would believe that? Van Tiu finally shared his actual plans. Living in a foreign land is not a long-term solution. When it comes to farming, I always feel like the soil here is better. You just do not get that connection to your roots abroad. He found this hilarious and teased him. Connecting to your roots? Only home soil counts for that. You playing with guns or something? Van Tiu was not bothered at all and shared more stories. I used to love going to the shooting range, but later, I got busy taking care of flowers and plants. Eventually, I just lost interest in it. Wang Zheng asked mockingly while looking at his hands. You have calluses everywhere. Looks like you have been doing some heavy lifting, huh? Hearing this, Jing Lang got annoyed. He slammed the table and snapped. Whether my brother works or not is none of your business. Ignoring his brother's outburst, he naturally made an offer. The farm is huge, and I am pretty busy on my own. I have been thinking about hiring a few extra sets of hands. Come on, let us go check out the farm. The rabbit bones were picked clean and dropped on the table. He gave Van Tiu a big thumbs up and complimented him. This rabbit meat is seriously delicious. I need to grab a few of these from the farm later. He was very generous about it. Sure, I will have someone load them into your car when you leave. The clear sky and lush forest created a truly stunning view. Standing outside, he pointed and spoke with authority. This is the cabbage field. Every single year, we produce over 10,000 kilograms of cabbage right here. These cabbages were actually tested in space. They have gene mutations, which is why the yield is so high. Seeing this peaceful, poetic scenery, Wang Zheng decided right then, when I get old, I am retiring here to grow veggies and flowers. It is so chill. The three of them continued on to a different section. This was the kennel area. The dogs were locked up and constantly pawing at the iron gates, barking their heads off. Fifi looked at the animals and then turned to ask him, "Do you enjoy dog fighting?" Van Tiu did not hide his hobby at all. "No, I just raise them. I have never put them in a fight." He noticed these dogs were aggressive with others but super friendly with Van Tiu. It seemed like fun. Hearing the answer, Wang Zheng quietly sized him up. If this guy is actually as kind as he seems, then why does he like such vicious dogs? And why do they get so obedient the second they see him? Something is definitely off here. He quickly started scanning through his combat memories, specifically the final battle of the Longland unit. They were ambushed by a left-handed shooter. His aim was incredibly fast, precise, and lethal. He almost snuffed out the very last bit of hope for the entire Longland squad. He looked at Van Tiu pointing with his left hand and started connecting the dots. If the Su family was the root cause of Longland being wiped out, then this lefty was the direct reason only 7 of those special ops members made it back alive. As a partner of the Su family, you better not show any evil intentions. If you do, I will not hesitate to take you out. Suddenly, Fifi got a phone call. Whatever the person on the other end said made her bark out an urgent command. "What? Get the word out immediately. Everyone needs to be at the meeting in 1 hour. We are holding a press conference in 2. Van Tiu looked worried and asked her what was going on. She explained the whole situation. There is a major glitch with the company Meteor water purifiers. Over 20 people are poisoned because the filter resin broke down. Right now, they are all in the emergency room. That sounds totally wrong to him. He thought it over seriously and warned her. Why would the resin decompose, and how does that even cause poisoning? Fifi, you need to go handle this right now. Someone might be pulling strings behind the scenes. Uncle 3 still has not woken up. You have to investigate this thoroughly. This outcome is crucial for the shareholders." They both rushed back to the company headquarters immediately. Fifi sat down and started digging through every single project file. The Meteor water purifier has been on the market for nearly 20 years. In all that time, there has never been a single quality issue. The filter materials are all from our regular suppliers and passed every national quality test. The standards are fully recognized. So, what on earth could have actually gone wrong? Nguyen Van Thao, her assistant, stepped up with the details. The 20 households using those Meteor purifiers all bought them 6 months ago. The resin filters decomposed on their own, which led to the poisoning cases. Mild cases have fevers, stomach aches, and diarrhea. But the worst ones are in deep comas. The most devastating news is that 2 3-year-old children are among the victims. Hearing this, she got extremely anxious. What is the hospital saying? Following her question, he delivered a grim report. The hospital lab results show heavy metal poisoning. They're doing everything they can to save them. The adults are more stable, but those 2 children might suffer permanent brain damage later on. Realizing how serious this was, Fifi gave clear orders to the board. We absolutely cannot take this lightly. I am confident our water purifiers are not the problem here. It looks like our rivals are attacking us incredibly fast. We have to keep the faith and stay strong. Whatever comes our way will come, but in the end, I know for a fact that victory will be ours. Van Thao has already started the investigation. Madam Chairman, do you have any specific suspects in mind yet? It seems like the old chairman really picked the right person for the job. She spoke with total integrity. I have a good idea who it might be. Then she slammed both hands onto the table, the sound echoing through the room. Fifi decisively laid out her demands for everyone present. The risk management department has 3 hours to give me a detailed report. Map out every single stage and potential scenario that could happen. I want a full forecast on my desk. That includes the absolute worst-case scenario. She glanced to her left, continuing to plot her defense. Have the media team release updates immediately. We need to stay on top of the poisoning cases. Do not say anything that sounds like we are dodging responsibility. Van Thao was a bit confused about the strategy. Should we hire some online influencers to post on forums or reach out to major news sites for help? Fifi, acting as the chairman, decided against it. Not yet. We have not fully investigated the facts. Any explanation we give now is just a waste of time. If we go the wrong way, it will just backfire on us. She looked at him for support. Assistant Van, you will go to the press conference for me. The rest of the departments need to stay focused and hold their positions. Then, Fifi bowed sincerely to the board. I hope you all realize how serious this is. The future of this company rests in your hands. I am counting on you. Once the reporters were settled, a voice announced the start of the event. Good afternoon, I am Shangguan Tithi, representing the Kudung Group. I am here for this press conference today because my father is currently out of the country. The press was buzzing Thi's old man went AWOL and left a huge mess behind, while she had to face the cameras alone. With her father missing, she completely ignored the gossip and doubled down. Our Dio water purifiers have been on the market for 20 years. After decades of constant upgrades, I can honestly say that Dio is the top choice for anyone looking for clean water. Van saw she was all talk and zero proof, so he jumped in. How do you explain today's disaster? Are you just trying to shift the blame onto someone else? She fired back with pure class, proving she is her father's daughter. Our company is not running away from this responsibility, she declared. They suspected sabotage, but it wasn't nearly enough to convince him. He stood up, reacting with total heat. You say someone framed you, and the company is innocent, but that is just your story. The poison is real and the victims are right here. Should we believe your PR spin or our own eyes? The reporters were yelling over each other, but Thi didn't flinch. I am taking a technical team to investigate the factory myself. The police are already involved, and I promise the truth will come out very soon. Van screamed that he wouldn't let this be buried. Thi, if your father was poisoned, your own children's brain development could be at risk. How can you stay so calm? You are just passing the buck. A company with a soul would never act like this. Meanwhile, Wang Zheng watched silently from the shadows. She didn't blink at the accusations. Speaking for the company, I apologize to the 24 victims and their families. We take full responsibility. We are hiring top medical experts, and if any child has brain damage, we will cover every single cent of their care. He glared at her, disgusted by the mention of money. His trashy attitude was starting to push Wang Zheng's buttons. As the room got more heated, Thi paused for a few seconds. I think I need to reconsider a few things here, she said coolly. She held up 3 fingers and laid it out. 1. This company will take full responsibility. We aren't dodging anyone. 2. We will uncover the absolute truth and share every single detail of the results with the public. Her voice became even steadier. 3. If we find out that someone is secretly trying to sabotage us, I don't think any of you will be willing to show them mercy. Once she finished shutting down the press, she glanced at her watch. It's getting late. I have to go to the hospital to check on the victims. This press conference is officially over. Moments later, her expensive silver luxury car was flying down the open road. Inside the car, she crossed her arms and asked about that guy with the messy hair. Which paper is he with? Van Fowl looked in the mirror. That's Van from Weekend News. He usually writes those trashy, sensational articles. His stuff is total clickbait and lacks any facts. These young kids really think they are untouchable. He kept reporting the dirt he found. Van has a master's in literature, but he owes thousands in student loans that he still hasn't paid back since graduation. Wang Zheng saw the red flags instantly. The guy is definitely bringing in some dirty money because of his massive debts. It's clear his financial situation is driving his shady behavior. Van Tao dug up some more useful dirt too. Last year, Van wrote a huge article attacking a dairy company over a major safety issue. But he was actually boosting a rival company, which made their revenue jump by 10%. He is just a dirty, soulless journalist. I wonder who is paying him this time. I bet his next hit piece is already finished and ready for tomorrow's front page. Wang Zheng played the hero and offered to handle it. Leave it to me. Dealing with a lowlife like that is my specialty. I am the best man for the job. Thi remembered him taking down 4 guys at once. She giggled and gave him a warning. Fine, he is all yours. Just try not to catch a murder charge, okay? Van Thal was skeptical. Is he just a bodyguard who knows how to throw a punch? Can he really handle this? But Wang Zheng wasn't worried at all. He turned to reassure her. Don't sweat it. We are almost at the hospital. You should focus on how to deal with the victims' angry families. Thi took a sip of water to calm her nerves. She looked out the window with a heavy heart. Being the boss is so exhausting. I just wish my father would wake up and get better already. The car pulled up to the hospital gates. A massive crowd of reporters had clearly been waiting there for hours. Inside, a group of protesters was already causing a scene right in front of the reception desk. They were even holding up giant red banners. They kept screaming their slogans. When they saw the 3 of them enter, the crowd swarmed them like angry hornets. You heartless monsters, give me back my daughter, give us back our health. Wang Zheng didn't care about the noise, he actually mocked them with a smirk. Wow, you guys are really in sync. Thi walked up to a man named Ditch Fong, looking very polite. Excuse me, sir, did you also purchase one of our Dio water purifiers? Before she could even finish her sentence, he jumped back. You bet I did. That's exactly why we are here to publicly call out this irresponsible and heartless corporation. Wang Zheng noticed the old guy was acting twitchy. He didn't hesitate to call him out. I bet you guys made that sign yourselves, didn't you? Ditch Fong didn't realize he was being played. Of course we did. We spent our own money on it. Suddenly, He grabbed the man's arm and pulled him to the side. Hey, come over here. The old man was totally lost and confused. Then, Vuong Tran stuffed a few $100 bills right into his hand. He stared at the cash and went dead silent, looking around like someone might steal it. At that moment, Vuong Tran was 90% sure he had his man. Don't be shy, just take it. I am a reporter and I just need the inside scoop. If you tell me the truth, all this money is yours to keep. Greedy as ever, Dich Fong nodded his head without a single second thought. He took the bait, so Vuong Tran started his interrogation. You don't sound like you are from around here, the man answered honestly. I am from Ha Dong. Right now, I live at house number 14 in the city. He kept digging, one step at a time. So, that house in the city, do you own it or are you renting? Dich Fong didn't even blink. My son is the one renting it, he said. With the basics finally out of the way, he went in for the kill. When you use the DO purifier, do you turn the water faucet on first, or do you just flip the DO machine switch? The man acted like he had been using it for years and answered very confidently. Oh, I definitely flipped the DO switch first, of course. Vuong Tran snatched the cash back since the answer was dead wrong. Dich Fong stared at his empty hand in total shock. As the old man started screaming, Vuong Tran pulled out his official identification. I am with the city police, and I am in charge of this investigation. If you take this money and lie about a criminal case, you are looking at 15 days in jail. Without saying a word, the man bolted, not even thinking about those pink bills anymore. Thai was stunned by his brilliant detective work. How did you figure that out? Vuong Tran kept his explanation simple. Look at his teeth. One glance at those stains tells me he has never touched a water purifier in his life. Her face tightened instantly. It looks like someone is definitely trying to destroy this company from the inside out. The doctor looked stressed as he explained the situation. If we can flush the toxins out quickly, everything will be fine. The children's brain development won't be affected at all. The only problem is, we don't have a fast way to detox them right now. Her face went dark when she heard the bad news. Those people are pure evil. They won't even spare innocent children. Vuong Tran suddenly had a light bulb moment and stepped forward. Why don't you let me give it a shot? He pushed the door open and looked at Dr. Toi Kang. Have you guys tried traditional herbal medicine yet? The doctor looked confused. Herbal medicine? Vuong Tran explained that he had read about a powerful detox formula in one of his old master's books. There are two extremely rare ingredients that I have never been able to test, but with the company's massive budget, finding them shouldn't be an issue at all. Thithi stood there, desperate to save the kids. Just tell me what you need. I will send people across the entire country to find those herbs right now. Dr. Toi Kang was still hesitant about the whole thing. You have never actually tried this formula before, right? What if there are dangerous side effects? But Thithi was completely blinded by her trust in him. Doctor, my mind is made up. Just do it. If anything goes wrong, I will take the full responsibility. They all returned to the hospital after a long day of hunting for those rare ingredients. Vuong Tran walked in and saw massive bags piled high in the room. I have to hand it to you, only the powerful Thuong Quan family could track down this many rare herbs this fast. Van Thao wipes his forehead, catching his breath. This setup cost a fortune, especially those rare herbs the old man was hiding in his secret stash. Thithi rushes over, totally stressed out. Vuong Tran, try it now. We cannot wait any longer. He nods and tells her to get him a room so he can start brewing. Inside the pot, 7,749 herbs are bubbling away. Vuong Tran blows the steam off. She stands there praising him, amazed he knows so much about medicine. He acts all humble. Do not hype me up too much, I cannot handle it. Honestly, my master forced me to learn medicine. Thithi leans against the stove, still wondering about him. How did you get this good? Was it some crazy survival training in the wild? Vuong Tran grumbles while stirring. Knives were fine, but that old man made me do everything barehanded. He remembers the days with his master, grinding to finish herb-gathering tasks. If he failed, the punishment was double training while carrying a stack of medical books on his back. She thinks the story is wild and calls the master cruel. Vuong Tran laughs, saying the title should be The Happy Life of a Bodyguard, showing how the lady bullies him. Thithi pouts at the joke. Fine, do not write it, but you are not just a bodyguard, you are an elite one. The scent fills the air as he lifts the lid. It is done. She peeks in and starts rushing him. Get it to them now. Vuong Tran. If this actually cures them, I will. He gives her a smirk. You will. What, exactly? Thithi playfully punches him. Quit it. Go get that medicine to the patients. Q Dung is counting on you. After the kids drink it, Dr. Kang is shocked. This is a miracle. She cannot wait another second. She looks at Van Thao and tells him to open the files immediately. We need to announce the health status of everyone who got poisoned right now. He is thrilled to still have a job. Yes, the press is already in the hall. Once the tasks are assigned, she turns to Vuong Tran. This is only half the battle. I am headed to the supplier. If there is a single lead buried there, I am going to find it and dig it out. He sees how confident she is and asks why she is so sure the supplier is the problem instead of the shipping. She claps back immediately. No way. You know why my water filters cost a premium compared to others? It is because every single machine has its own internal chip. He is shocked that water filters even have chips. She thinks for a second. Without the code, you cannot even change the filter core. True basically has a monopoly on filter cores in China, and they keep their products locked down tight. Wang Zheng is confused, but Thi is happy. Their products are internal, so no accidents happen. The real problem is right inside True. He is impressed by her detective skills. You are sharper than any cop. She starts barking orders, splitting them up. We go to True, while Nguyen Van stays here to find the mastermind. Van Thao sees how much she has grown and does not argue. Understood, Madam Chairman. She nods and pats his shoulder. This time, we go to the port. You are the boss and I will be your secretary. Wang Zheng looks helpless. My lady, my secretary, what game is this? She tells him to get serious. I am using a fake identity to investigate. If the CEO shows up at True, they will just kiss my feet. I will never see the truth. He asks what his role is. She pulls out a badge she already had ready. Senior Vice President of the Qdong International Group. Look, I even got your business cards printed. He realizes he has been played. Wow, you really had this whole thing planned out from the start, did you? She claps happily when the plan works. I am definitely pulling you into the deep end with me. During the internal meeting, I am announcing that you are now the heavy hitter at Qdong. Wang Zheng gives a smirk. Under one person, huh? So you are on top of me? Thi innocently repeats it. Exactly. I am on top. Then she realizes and hides her face. They head out as the sun climbs high, light hitting everything. They swap seats in the car. I already told the people at True to meet us at the front door. Vice President Vuong, are we ready to do this? He looks at her having fun and sighs. My lady, just this once. I am never letting you be my secretary ever again. A while later, the car pulls up. Lai Loi approaches respectfully with a handshake. Vice President Vuong, I am Lai Loi, head of True. It is an honor. About the incident, Vuong Tran ignores the small talk. After checking the data, he taps the report and asks if Lai Loi has found any leads on what happened. Getting called out by the boss makes him sweat buckets. He reports quietly that there is no progress yet, based on their previous production experience. He cuts him off before he can ramble. Stop the talk. One question. Besides safety and protection, does any other department ever touch the filter cores? Lai Loi is shaking inside but tries to stay calm. Raw materials are checked strictly and the system controls the whole process. Only those two departments have any access. Tired of the excuses, Wang Zheng gets to the point. I need the staff list of everyone who joined or left those departments in the last year. Fast as possible. Lai Loi jumps up to grab the files, but before he can leave, I add another demand. Call the port police. Every single person in those departments gets a lie detector test, including you. Lai Loi stumbles out like a ghost. Fine, whatever the vice president says. The meeting wraps up and he gives orders. You guys get to the branch and start the meetings. If I have time, I will stop by. Nat Bin stands there shaking like a leaf and immediately agrees. Yes, sir. We will be waiting for you at the branch office. Vuong Tran remembers something and turns back. Wait, where is the branch located? He tries to stay calm and says the hog-tied building, but they move next year. Move where? Nat Bin reports that once the Chunam Plaza is finished, they will move there to help with the company expansion. The name sounds familiar. Chunam territory. He thinks about it for a second. Cancel the move. Even a branch needs its own office. We will build one in a year. Thi smiles, watching him act like a total boss. Nat Bin is worried about the money and asks where the funding will come from. He does not give a straight answer yet. Once the proposal hits headquarters, I will review it myself. But I need your budget to be perfect. Get your head in the game. He does not dare ask more and just nods. Yes, Vice President Vuong. I already sold some units at the plaza, so the capital is up. I will report to headquarters soon. Vuong Tran sees things are handled and dismisses them. All right, get out of here. Thi stands by watching him with a grin. I finally got to flex a little power, but you know the deal. That branch at the port is a gold mine. I am not handing it over to Chunam. She gives him a playful pinch, looking annoyed. Do not go ruining my relationship with Chunam. I am not ready to drop the act and go to war with them yet. Vuong Tran saw she had it all wrong and explained. What are you thinking? It is just some healthy competition. She is totally lost and keeps asking questions because this real estate move makes zero sense for our company policy. Even if we have the cash, dumping it all into property might just kill our cash flow for good. Vuong Tran stayed confident and did not hesitate. Our team is not passing up this payday. The Shangguan family can afford it, but we are going to drop prices so normal people can actually buy homes in the city. She did not expect him to be so kind-hearted, but she was only seeing the surface of his plan. I feel like you are up to something. Wang Zheng explained he was not just being nice. Life is hard in those two places. You have never been at the bottom, so you do not get it. I want to shake up the system so the big shots there have a tough time. She was confused when he mentioned two strange names, to Nam Kwok and Truong Bin Hao. They were both key players in the two faction. Her face clouded over. He kept talking and she kept trying to talk some sense into him. Wang Tran, I said I would help you, but if you go looking for trouble, I will not. He saw she was overthinking and told her to relax. I am not dragging the company into this. Just give me a little hand and I will bring back huge profits. After tearing the office apart, Lai Loi rushed back with an assistant carrying a file. Vice Director Wang, here is the list of employees from the product security and inspection departments for the past year. Wang Tran pointed to a spot on the desk and asked about the company drama. Just leave it here. Anything else? How many people left those departments this year? He put the files down and wiped his sweat while answering. There are 26 people working now. Only 3 left, including 1 security director. The lie detectors are ready for the 10 vice directors too. He pulled out a paper covered in text. You guys move fast. Here are 50 questions for the lie detector test. Even the senior managers need to do this. You have 2 hours to finish it. The man felt like he was losing his job and suddenly looked 10 years older. Fine, I will do it now. Wang Tran flipped through the files and stopped. He found something and immediately called for his secretary. Call Assistant NG and tell him to investigate these 3 people. I want everything you can find on the director of the product security department. Thai winked playfully and said she would get right on it. He smiled at her. Later. I will take you to the harbor to look at some land. This is where our real estate empire begins. The sky was blue and the sun was blazing as the car sped down the road. Wait, does that car look familiar? That red car is definitely chasing him. One look and he knows it is Zhang Binhao's daughter. He slams the gas and the car takes off like it has a rocket strapped to its rear end. They were playing cat and mouse and neither was backing down. Wang Tran smirked. The fish finally bit the hook. She floored it and cut him off. A pair of red high heels stepped out of the car. Miu Miu walked up and asked if he wanted to go. He hopped out and said, fine, but I am going to need a buy-in first. She thought this guy was pretty interesting. That is how we usually do things anyway. Our previous matches always required a bet to start. Wang Tran gave her a fair warning. My buy-in is massive. Miu Miu did not care. Her family was loaded. Whatever, just make sure you actually beat me fairly. I will agree to your terms. There is not much I cannot do in this city, but if you lose, I have my own demands too. Thai thought he was being reckless, but Miu Miu was not going to lose out. She demanded a night 15 if she won. Even though she was a rich girl, she had no clue what that car was. Wang Tran had some thoughts on her request. A girl like you should not be driving such a beastly car. He laughed loudly. There are only 100 of them in the world, but I can make it happen. Miu Miu did not let him finish and asked for his terms. Like it was all scripted, he did not hesitate to tell her. My conditions are actually much simpler. I want a piece of land down at the harbor. Miu Miu heard him and asked for the details. A piece of land? How big and where exactly is it located? Wang Tran told her it was the spot by the lake. I will pay for it, but the bet is only 80% of the land value. What do you say? She agreed easily. I cannot give you 1,000 acres, but 500 is doable. 80% is fine. Since you are new here, you pick the time. Seeing her cooperate made him smile. Then let us hit the G1501 highway tomorrow morning. How does that sound to you? Miu Miu looked at his beat-up car and asked if he needed a trade. You really gonna race in that old thing? Wang Tran patted his ride and said it would not belong to her. She saw he would not listen and walked away. See you tomorrow morning. Thai watched her drive off and then grilled him on why he made that promise. Do not tell me you are racing just for the bet. Did you plan this before you even met her? Wang Tran gave her a playful tap and asked why she had so many questions. Are you the girl with 100,000 whys? She pouted and said he was good at reading people, so he should just tell her the truth. He stopped joking and explained everything clearly. That girl is straightforward, and besides, look at the situation around us. Trying to do this without power is impossible. Her family definitely has money and influence, plus her last name is Truong. Wang Tran acted all confident and told his assistant to check on the kids of Truong Bin Hao. He was almost sure it was her. I thought he was being a total mastermind. You flatter me. As the senior vice president of a global company, I obviously need to have a couple of tricks up my sleeve. Wang Tran acted like a big boss and told his secretary to stay at the office. You check the test results tomorrow while I handle the race. Thai was sad about staying behind. I really wanted to go with you, but I guess I should handle this. Just be careful out there. He gave her a thumbs up to chill her out. Don't worry, she cannot beat me. She joked around, saying she was worried he might fall for the governor's daughter. If that happens, half of the city will belong to our company for sure. Wang Tran laughed and tapped her head. Stop joking. The best person is right here in front of me. Who could be better than the Shangguan heir? The car sped off as she screamed into the wind, "You are the one who is a real player." A while later, they were back at the office. Van Thao was reporting on two suspicious guys who left for better pay elsewhere. He nodded in agreement and gave more details on the guy. This person is named Liu Heavy, and he is 40 years old. He worked there for almost 20 years and was well liked by the boss. There were no conflicts at all. Van Thao kept talking about the shares. Liu Heavy left so suddenly that he could not even sell his stake in the company. Thai looked over the files and gave her opinion. It seems like someone gave him a better deal to make him leave. He had a lot of dirt on the guy and laid it all out. I found out his daughter is studying abroad and has not graduated yet. She immediately gave the order to send someone there. Hopefully, it is not a waste of time. At the G1501 highway entrance, Miu Miu was already waiting. As dusk fell, Wang Tran finally pulled up. He rolled down the window and joked about her being right on time. She wonders why his pretty girl didn't show up. He hits her with 70% sarcasm and 30% truth. I am riding solo because my car can't handle the extra weight, okay? Miu Miu doesn't say much, just signals for him to look ahead. In 5 minutes, that gate is going up. First one to hit the highway exit wins the whole thing. You in? Wang Tran is down for the challenge. Both cars are in position, just waiting for the signal to floor it and leave everyone else in the dust. 5 minutes are up, and the black and blue cars are revving. Before the gate even clears the roof, Miu Miu bolts. While she is flying, the blue car just leaves him eating dust. Seeing her hit 102 seconds flat leaves him impressed. That is some serious skill. But Wang Tran isn't giving up. He slams the pedal to the floor to catch her. He takes the sharpest turn like he has got lives to spare. Wang Tran works the gear stick to keep things smooth. Miu Miu catches him in the mirror and just laughs. The two cars weave through traffic, screaming toward the finish line. Back at the highway control room, the monitors are going crazy. These two are driving way too reckless. If they crash, it is over. Call the captain immediately. Tell them to block the road or we are the ones taking the heat. Moments later, Captain Tucan storms in and the whole crew stands at attention. He looks like he just ate a ghost. He orders everyone to let those cars through, or they can deal with the fallout themselves. Vuong doesn't get it and starts yelling. Why aren't we stopping them? He snaps back. Are you kidding me? The provincial secretary's daughter is out there racing. You tell me how I am supposed to stop her. Out on the highway, the black and blue racers are still pushing their limits, chasing each other down. The image of the car falling behind reflects perfectly in the leader's rearview mirror. Miu Miu isn't sweating it at all. Oh, so he is still trying to catch up? Fine, I will give him a little taste of hope. She does the math in her head, a smug smirk spreading across her face. The traffic is clearing up ahead. Time to show him how a real winner does it. She slams the gas and leaves Wang Tran way behind. He is genuinely surprised by her sudden burst of speed and has to give Miu Miu props. Her car and her technical skills are impressive, and it is definitely opening his eyes. The car glides down the lonely road, effortlessly overtaking everyone else. She is feeling herself now, acting all arrogant like a peacock showing off its feathers. Just watch what I can really do when I get serious. But reality hits hard. She glances out the window and sees Wang Tran closing the gap out of nowhere. Miu Miu's eyes almost pop out of her head. What? How is he still on my tail? She is fuming, teeth clenched with pure determination. This guy is way too cocky. If I don't use my secret weapon, I am never going to beat him. Let's see if he can handle the heat. Without thinking twice, she hits the button for the special boost system. Miu Miu's car takes off like it has a rocket strapped to it. Behind her, Wang Tran's jaw drops. He can't believe she is going that far. Damn, she is actually using the easy system. Is winning this bet that important to her? He is watching closely, but she isn't showing any signs of slowing down, and he is starting to get worried. It has been 2 seconds and she is still accelerating. Why isn't she stopping? Then it hits him. Is it possible she has actually lost control of the car? Inside the car, Miu Miu is feeling beyond confident. 3 seconds, 4 seconds, just one more and I have got this. But life has a funny way of ruining a perfect moment. Suddenly, smoke starts pouring out of the engine. Miu Miu finally realizes she has pushed it too far. In a total panic, she slams on the brakes, screaming for the car to stop. But it is too late. The car loses control and slams right through the barrier, flying off the road into the ditch. Wang Tran slowly pulls over and watches the total disaster. He just shakes his head, wondering how the secretary's daughter could be this stupid. He takes a second to scan the area. All he wanted from this race was to get his hands on that piece of land in Chuangjia Kang. His real plan was just to shake up the Jiangsu real estate market and make things difficult for her father's business. He walks along, complaining to himself. She didn't even know his real motives and nearly killed herself for a car. She is absolutely insane. Honestly, she is so dumb, I don't even feel like saving her. Even though he is complaining, he keeps moving closer. No explosion yet, which is a good sign. The control room has been watching the whole time, and Captain Toucan is livid. These rich kids have no respect for life. The guys behind him are starting to get nervous. This is bad. Captain, what is our next move? He is still fuming, but he is starting to pull it together. Forget about the rules. Get the whole team out there and save her, no matter what it takes. I will get on the horn with the traffic department. Everyone yells back in agreement, their voices echoing through the entire station. Time passes, and Wang Tran is still wandering around looking for her. He is starting to wonder if she is a goner when he smells something weird. It is gas. He follows the scent through the thick brush and finally spots the car. That fancy blue car looks like a pile of scrap metal now, and the smoke makes it look like it is about to blow. As he gets closer, his expression suddenly changes. Right there in front of him is Miu Miu, lying completely still in the wreckage. It looks like she is on the verge of death. When she hears someone call her name, she barely manages to open her heavy eyes. Even with blood dripping down her face, it is not enough to stop her from talking trash and acting tough. He is not going to argue with his spoiled brat right now. He gently lifts her out of the driver's seat. You are still alive. You almost gave me a heart attack. She is completely exhausted, but she is still being stubborn. I am not dying that easily. The cage and the frame are high-tech materials designed to soak up most of the impact. He doesn't think her explanation is anything special and just gives a short response. No need to thank me. I am just making sure you are alive to see your family. He turns to check the car. He looks down and frowns. Your leg is pinned. Just relax, I am going to get you out. Before she can even say a word, he literally rips the car door right off. The sudden wave of pain is too much to handle. Her throat is bone dry as she lets out a few choked sobs. She starts sobbing his name as tears stream down her face. It doesn't hurt, just keep going. He looks at her like she has totally lost it, but he just ignores her and keeps working. Miu Miu just lies there watching him, her mind racing. Seeing him rescue her is like seeing light at the end of a tunnel. I used to think this stuff on TV was fake, but now I get it. She is just a normal person after all, and she is terrified. When she finally came to, she really thought this was where it was all going to end for her. She was completely lost in those dark thoughts of bleeding out right there alone. When suddenly Wang Tran shouts out with pure joy, I have got it. She looks at him with feelings she can't even describe. She never expected this guy she barely knows to save her, let alone be so incredibly gentle about it. He has no clue what is going on in her head as he carefully moves her leg out of the wreck. Don't move yet, your thigh bone looks broken. Her emotions finally boil over and she tries to hide her tears. Look, stop staring. I never cry in public, okay? It is beyond embarrassing. But for Wang Trang, this whole breakdown seemed like no big deal at all. He pulled out a pill with zero hesitation. It is normal to cry when the pain is this bad, he said. Here, take this heavy-duty painkiller. He handed it over to Miu Miu like he was soothing a wounded kitten. Swallow this. I will stabilize your bone and then we are hitting the hospital. She was suddenly acting like a total sweetheart, obediently taking the medicine from his hand. Within seconds, she was shocked by how fast it worked. The pain just vanished. Feeling a bit bolder, she started flirting again. Do you actually know first aid, or are you just looking for an excuse to touch me? But our main character is written to be a straight arrow. Wang Trang shut that down immediately without even thinking about it. Number 1, I am just bracing it. Number 2, I will not watch a woman suffer. Then, he used his teeth to tear a strip of fabric from his sleeve. He started wrapping it tightly around her fractured thigh. He thought to himself that those old army skills really do come in handy everywhere. After a while, he realized something annoying. This fabric was not going to be enough. Only one option left. He closed his eyes and sighed, hating the fact that he was ruining his brand new shirt. Miu Miu was stunned by the gesture and could only gasp out a shocked, "Hey!" Her eyes drifted to the skin revealed under his torn clothes. She was instantly mesmerized by the web of scars across his chest. Why do you have so many scars on your body? He barely blinked, treating them like badges of honor. These are just my trophies. Then he went back to being a tease. Wow, falling for me already? Too bad, you are really not my type. Miu Miu turned beet red because he totally called her out. Shut up, I was just curious, that is all. Deep down, she was already impressed. He was nothing like the entitled rich boys she usually met. Those guys were honestly nauseating. He finished bracing her broken leg and stood up. Done. She kept her eyes locked on him. This man was covered in scars and she was dying to know the story behind them. It was seriously intriguing. He gently scooped her up and lifted her like she weighed nothing. Let us get moving. Concerned about her injury, she whispered for him to take it slow since she was still hurt. She did not realize she was subconsciously clinging to him. They were basically pressed against each other. Suddenly, he stopped walking and looked at her awkwardly. "Hold on a second, Miss Chuang. We need to talk." Miu Miu gave him her most innocent, wide-eyed look and sang out a reply. "What is it? You can tell me anything." Still holding her, he lowered his voice. "Can we maybe not stick together like glue?" Then he added a smirk. "Luckily, I have self-control, or this could turn into a very scandalous situation." She jumped, suddenly acting all protective of her virtue. "You creep!" She screamed like he had already done something wrong. Seeing her hilarious reaction, he just let out a hearty laugh. Time flies like a dog running through a field. Soon, the sky was bathed in a warm golden sunset. A young man scanned the area and reported to Tu Khan. "Captain, the noon scouts are not back yet. The cameras show a man came down here to rescue her. We should follow his lead." He agreed completely. "Go now," he barked out an order. "Everyone, get down there and find her. If you do not find the young lady, do not bother coming back." Suddenly, a calm voice came from behind them. "No need for that." Everyone turned at once to see Wang Zheng slowly walking toward them, carrying the injured Miu Miu in his arms. "I brought her back. Her leg is likely broken, so get her to a hospital for an X-ray right now." As soon as the boss saw her, he rushed over in a total panic. "My dear lady, you nearly gave me a heart attack. If something happened to you, what would we even do?" But Miu Miu was not buying the act. "If you were so worried, why were you just standing here talking instead of searching?" That shut Tukan up real fast. He had absolutely no comeback for that. But inside, he was cursing her out. "You think organizing a massive search party is easy?" Classic rich kid attitude. Suddenly, Wang Trang reached out and gently checked on her bleeding wound. His voice was incredibly soft, like the perfect leading man in a drama. "All right, just stay still and relax here. Do not even think about getting out of bed for at least 2 months. No driving for half a year either." Surprisingly, she actually listened to him. "Fine, I will play by your rules this once." But she had to add a condition. "You have to come visit me in the hospital so I do not get bored." He handed her a business card to calm the feisty kitten down. "Fine, call me if you get lonely." She grabbed it and held it up like a trophy. Her eyes lit up like a kid with a new toy. Deal. Night fell over the city. At the hospital, Dr. Duke Chi stared at the X-ray in total disbelief. This bone setting is perfect. A rare talent. On the other side of the room, Bin Hao did not seem to care about the medical details. He glared at the director. "I am asking about my daughter's condition, and you have been rambling about how rare this is for 10 minutes. Duke Chi calmly explained the situation. "This technique is incredibly sophisticated and very hard to find these days. If that person had not fixed her leg this way, she would have been stuck in bed for 5 years. Bin Hao was intrigued by this miracle method. "Can you do it too?" The doctor just shook his head. "No. I tried to learn it, but the old books were missing pages, so I gave up. I cannot believe someone actually knows this. This guy is a genius. I would love to meet him." Having heard enough, Bin Hao stood up to leave. "If he is really as good as you say, I definitely want to meet him and say thanks." In the private room, Miu Miu lay in bed, staring at the business card. It had not even been half a day, and she was already bored. Should I call him? Suddenly, the card was snatched out of her hand. Bin Hao had walked in unnoticed. He squinted at the card. "Who is this guy? Wang Trang?" She started flopping around like a fish out of water, even with her leg in a cast. "I do not even know him. Dad, give that back right now." He ignored her and handed the card back. "Stop playing innocent. It is written all over your face. Just tell me. What family is he from? Who is this guy you are obsessing over?" But she just turned away, refusing to give him a single detail. "I am telling you, I do not know." Secretly, she was annoyed. Why is he so pushy? I just found out his name this afternoon. How am I supposed to know his family tree? Seeing her stubbornness, Bin Hao gave up. "Fine, I will just investigate him myself. Tell him not to even think about seducing my daughter. Only someone like Tian Yan is good enough for you." Miu Miu bolted upright in shock. "Dad, what is wrong with you? Everyone in the city knows Tian Yan is into Trung Min Kai. How do you not know that?" Even if she hated it, he could not stand the thought of his daughter with some random guy. Wang Trang cannot compete with the two family. Most vice presidents at Kondong are at least 40 years old. She quickly shut down her dad's crazy theory. Like, who even said the guy was 40 or 50? Wang Zheng is 25 or 26 at most. Making VP at that age? That is basically a prodigy. Bin Hao was stunned. If that is true, the kid has serious skills. This Wang Zheng really is her savior. All of Miu Miu's swagger suddenly vanished. She just gave a shy, awkward nod and whispered, "Yeah, that is right." He casually grabbed an apple from the basket, feeling pretty good about this Wang Zheng guy. He saved his daughter, so the family owes him big time. Now, how should she pay him back? Miu Miu blurted out, "Dad, just give him that plot of land by the lake." Bin Hao's eyes sharpened as he stared her down. Wait, was that his demand? In his head, he figured the kid was a total shark with massive ambitions, but she was already head over heels for him. She waved it off, saying, "No, Dad, we had a bet. The land was just the prize." She could not even look her old man in the eye. Her driving sucked compared to his, so she totally wiped out. He could have just left her in the dust, but he actually stopped to save her. Bin Hao finally got the picture and handed her a freshly peeled apple. "I get it. Fine, he can have the land, but he has to submit a solid plan and design first. He covers all the costs too. That is the deal." Miu Miu took a big, satisfying bite. "You are the best, Dad. Not like Mom, she is way too strict." He reached for another fruit and gave her a heads up about her mother. "She heard you were in the hospital and ditched her business trip immediately. Honestly, she is probably on a flight back home right this very second." Miu Miu froze like she just got hit by a stun grenade. "This is bad. She is totally going to ground me." Before she could say another word, her dad's phone started buzzing. "All right, I have got a board meeting. I am out. Figure out how to handle your mother." He did not even wait for an answer before walking out and slamming the door shut. With him gone, she went right back to daydreaming about her crush. Whatever. If she gets grounded, she gets grounded. But when is he coming to see me? Why do I keep thinking about him? Is this love at first sight? Morning finally arrived, and sunlight started pouring into the villa. Wang Zheng was chilling in bed, taking a call. "Yeah, I got it. Just track them, but do not spook them." Then he remembered that reporter. What is the deal with Tran Back Fan? Fan Thao gave him the full report on the guy. Turns out, he took 50,000 from someone else to come here and stir up trouble. I paid him off before he could do any more damage. But here's the thing, we still do not know who hired him. Whoever did it was a total pro and left 0 tracks. Wang Zheng did not seem fazed. "Got it, just keep an eye on them." He hung up and sighed. This opponent is a real headache. They are testing the waters, but they are playing it safe. If I slip up, I will never hear the end of it. Man, being a bodyguard for Thithi is seriously exhausting. It was a beautiful day, and a car was flying down the empty road. Wang Zheng kept his eyes on the pavement and asked Thithi, "So where is Thin Phi now?" Thithi looked up from the passenger seat. "She left the capital already. She will probably beat us there. But why are you even coming to her place with me?" He was not in the mood for her questions. "You talk too much. I am your bodyguard." Secretly, he felt a huge weight on his shoulders. He was finally going to meet his friend's wife. He remembered eating at the camp with Tai Xiu. His friend would always go on and on about her. "My wife wrote to me," he would say. "She misses me so much. I miss her too." Once, while patrolling some ruins, he spotted something. He showed it to me and said, "This necklace is beautiful. She is going to love it. I will buy it when I am on leave." But life can be cruel. Even while he was taking his last breaths, Tai Xiu was still thinking about his wife waiting for him back home. "Guess I am not making it back after all. I never got to send her this necklace." Back in reality, Wang Zheng gripped the steering wheel and touched the small box beside him. The car sped down the highway as the journey continued. Everyone had their own reasons for heading to Thin Phi's house. They were currently flying through the town of Lianhan. He kept his eyes glued to the road and said calmly, "We should be at Thin Phi's village in about an hour." Thithi gave him a suspicious look. "Why do I feel like you have been here before? This place is literally in the middle of nowhere, but you act like you know every turn." Wang Zheng flinched but quickly came up with an excuse. "I was here for some work stuff a few years back, but secretly, he knew this road by heart just from his friend's stories." She seemed a bit hesitant, still looking suspicious. "Oh, is that so?" Thin Phi dropped her suitcase and let out a long sigh. "Finally, I am home." The view in front of her left her speechless. She had not been home in 2 years and everything had changed. She remembered a simple house, but now she was staring at a luxury villa. As soon as Mai Hoa saw Thin Phi, she cried out in joy. "Sweetie, you are back. Come inside quickly. It is way too hot out here." She ran over and hugged her mother, sobbing, "Mom." Her emotions were totally overwhelming. Her mother held her close and whispered, "Do not cry, baby. You are finally home. I missed you so much." Thin Phi took her hand and looked at her. "Mom, come with me this time. Let's move to the city so I can finally take care of you." Mai Hoa gestured toward the massive house and gently shook her head. "We cannot. Look at this place we built. Your grandparents live here too, and everyone is happy. We really do not want to leave." She looked her mother in the eye and asked the question that was bugging her. "Mom, where did the money for this house come from? This must have cost a fortune." Her mother beamed with pride, "Over 600,000. It was all from the money you sent home. My daughter is so amazing. You send over 20,000 every month, but you should stop splitting the payments into 2. It is easier to just send it all at once." Thin Phi looked totally confused. Wait, I do not make that much money. Is someone else actually sending money home? Maybe it was a mistake. But how could someone make a mistake like that for years? Mai Hoa noticed her just standing there and called out, "Come on, let's get inside before the sun cooks you." As the wind blew her mother's dress, Thin Phi's eyes widened. She stared at the fabric. Wait a second, that design looks exactly like it is from a high-end international collection. She stammered out, "Mom, that dress." Her mother turned around with a soft smile. "Oh, this. It is so comfortable. You sent it to me last year, and I have been saving it for a special occasion. Since you are home, I finally put it on." Her mother's answer just made things even more confusing. "I sent this? This dress costs at least 1,000 pieces of gold." Mai Hoa drags her inside, her voice sounding super urgent. Grandparents are waiting, and Hong An jumps straight into matchmaking. "Thin Phi, you are back. Guess what? Old man Phi from down the street has been begging for a setup with his son, Phi Lam. Remember him?" She recalls a snotty kid. "Oh, that runny-nosed boy? I remember." Mom and Grandma exchange looks and smirk. They start pitching him like he is a premium investment. Well, if you remember him, that is a great start. Turns out Phi Lam is a big deal in the city now. Marketing director, making 6 figures, and even owns his own place up there. Grandma is hyped. "You two are a perfect match. Let us set a date." Thin Phi is shocked and blurted out, "What?" She shuts it down fast and firm. "But Grandma, my career." Grandma is not hearing it. She shakes her head, clearly disagreeing. "No way. You are not getting any younger, girl." Grandma gets dead serious. "Phi Lam is a total catch. You have not seen him in 2 years. He is glowing up. Just meet him once." Thin Phi waves her off immediately. Mai Hoa puts a hand on her shoulder and gives some gentle advice. "Honey, listen to your grandma. Just one meeting." She hesitates, trying to find the words. Suddenly, the door flies open. Phi Lam walks in with gifts. He greets the elders politely, then spots her. His eyes go wide. "Thin Phi, you are back?" She tilts her head and smirks. "Long time no see, snotty-nosed kid. How have you been?" He checks her out. "Haha, you still remember that? The snot is gone, I promise. You have changed too. You became a beauty. No one expected our village to produce a star like you." She, acting like a host, pours him some tea and sets it down. "Here, have some water. You must be thirsty." Buying a house in the city is impressive. Not like me, still crashing with a friend. He catches the opening. "Prices are crazy. Why not move into my place? 2 bedrooms, newly renovated 3 months ago. You can move right in. It would be easier to look after you." She starts to panic and refuses. Grandma chimes in immediately. Why would that be a problem? She clearly supports him. He does not miss a beat and keeps pushing the offer. "Exactly. What is the problem? We each have a room, so zero interference." Thin Phi is trapped. In her head, she is screaming for anyone to save her from this. Phi Lam senses her vibe. He does not wait for her to say no. He makes a quick exit strategy instead. "Tell you what, Thin Phi, I will help you move once we are back in the city. I will leave you to your family now." He turns to leave, but Grandpa stops him from behind. "Not so fast." Grandpa smiles. He sounds playful but firm. "You only want to talk to her? What about us? Stay for dinner." He turns back and accepts instantly. "If you are inviting me, I would be honored to stay." He smirks to himself. Grandpa really has his back. Once he sits down, Grandpa gets curious. "Come here, tell me more about this house of yours." He gets shy. "It is nothing special, really." She sighs. "A 2-bedroom house?" If he knew she was about to own half of Lam Hai with trillions in assets, he would be absolutely mortified. "Dinner is ready," Mom calls out from the kitchen. "Time to eat. Thin Thick. Thin How. Stop messing around and get over here right now." The table is loaded with food. She plays the polite granddaughter, serving everyone. "Auntie, you worked hard. Try this braised pork I made." Everyone praises her. "Such a good girl. Wish you were my daughter." Then comes the marriage talk. "Seriously, you need a boyfriend." She is totally over it. Same topic, different day. Bored to death, she pulls out her phone to send an SOS. She is dying inside. Where are Thi Thi and Vuong Tran? Suddenly, the doorbell rings. She jumps up. "Mom, that is my friends. I will go get them." Vuong Tran and Thi Thi are at the gate. He looks at the massive house and nods. "Not bad. This place is actually pretty nice." She runs out and hugs them like they are her lifesavers. "You guys finally made it." Thi Thi looks worried. What is going on? Phi Lam watches from the door. He frowns, feeling a wave of jealousy. "Why is there another guy?" She pulls them inside. "You guys are just in time." Thi Thi just nods. Inside, she introduces her bestie. "Mom, this is my best friend in the whole world, Shangguan Thi Thai." She bows politely with a charming smile. "Hi, Thin Fee talks about you all the time. I have been wanting to meet you for ages. Mom is touched. I have heard so much about you. Thanks for looking out for my girl. I owe you one. Thin Fai then pulls Wang Tran forward. And this is Wang Tran, another good friend. He nods. Hey, sister-in-law. I wanted to visit sooner, but I was slammed. The girls freeze. Sister-in-law? Sister-in-law? Fifi grabs his arm and whispers. What are you saying? Why did you call her that? He breaks into a cold sweat and starts panicking. Crap, I am so used to calling her that around, Boss Thin. Habit. He fakes a laugh. Sorry, you look so young. I got confused. No offense. She just rolls her eyes. Smooth. Very smooth. Phi Lam decides to flex. I am Phi Lam. Thin Phi and I went to school together. I work in the city, living at Hoa Vien Than Chi. Vuong Tran shakes his hand. I am Vuong Tran. Just started working in the city, currently couch surfing basically. Never heard of that neighborhood though. He looks at him and hides a smirk. This guy is a riot, who introduces themselves by their apartment name. He is clearly just trying to show off. Phi Lam tries to stay cool, but he is definitely condescending. You are new here, so you probably haven't explored much yet. Come visit sometime. It is tough for us city workers, we should stick together. He starts digging for info. So, what do you do? Vuong Tran smiles casually. Security guard and part-time driver. Phi Lam pulls his hand back, feeling superior. Oh, I see. I usually grind until 9 p.m., he laughs to himself. A security guard? No way he is on my level. Fifi watches the drama. She pats his shoulder and calls him out. Oh, stop being so humble. You just dropped 10 million on a Maybach, and now you are a guard? Phi Lam froze, his brain doing literal backflips. Wasn't this guy just a security guard? Did he actually buy that Maybach parked out front himself? Which one of these two is lying? Just then, my Hoa came out with snacks. Come on, sit down and talk. Try some of this year's peanuts, roasted, using our secret family recipe. Vuong Tran cracked a peanut and gave a thumbs up while chewing. Man, this is good. It hit him right in the feels. It tasted exactly like what his sister sent him. Phi Phi glanced at him, wondering what the big deal was. She popped a peanut into her mouth, and her eyes lit up immediately. Wow, she blurted out, this is actually amazing. Hong An sat down, looking warmly at the two of them. You both seem like such good kids. I am so relieved Thin Phi has friends like you. Phi Lam immediately rushed over, sitting close to turn on the charm. Grandma, do not forget about me. I will take extra care of her from now on. When I have time, I will take you guys to visit the capital. It looked like his plan worked. She turned to Thin Phi and said, Look, Phi Lam is clearly sincere. Plus, you two grew up together. To me, you guys look like the perfect match. She sat up straight with a serious look. Grandma, please stop pushing. I am telling the truth. I actually already have a boyfriend. Both Hong An and Phi Lam were completely and utterly frozen in shock. Their silence made Thin Phi nervous. Was that it? Was Phi Lam jealous of Vuong Tran yet? She suddenly pointed right at Vuong Tran and made a bold announcement. It is him. He is the one. Right in the middle of his snack, his name got called out. Vuong Tran sighed. Seriously, not again. Can we stop doing this? Everywhere I go, I end up being the human shield. He sat there like a statue, crying on the inside while everyone stared. Even Thin Phi was looking at him. So annoying. Thin Phi glanced at Thi Thai as if asking for permission to use him. Thi Thi made an O shape with her hand. Perfect teamwork. Okay. Both of them turned to look at Vuong Tran with puppy dog eyes, basically begging for help. Please, just play along. He closed his eyes and let out a long sigh. Then he suddenly grabbed Thin Phi by the hand. Vuong Tran gave a sweet smile and spoke every word clearly, like he was reading from a movie script. Grandma, Auntie, I have to be honest. Thin Phi and I have been together for over 6 months. She wanted to wait a bit longer to introduce me to the family. Thin Phi squeezed his hand and signaled him to let go. Vuong Tran glanced at her, his eyes saying, Do not move. We have to make this look real. He was secretly enjoying this. I cannot steal from others, but I am not even allowed to hold a hand. Then he turned back to Hong An, sounding completely sincere. Grandma, I know you love Thin Phi the most and worry about her being safe out there. Well, you can rest easy now. Because she is. Thin Phi shot him a look, feeling annoyed. Why does he sound so irritating? Is he trying to get back at me for something? Hong An beamed with joy, her voice full of hidden meaning. What a good boy. I like you even more now. I feel safe leaving Thin Phi in your hands. Phi Lam sat there, face darkening as things took a sudden turn. A wave of bitterness washed over him. Wasn't Grandma supposed to be on my side? Why the sudden change? Did Thin Phi do this on purpose? Did she hide her boyfriend just to make me look like a fool? He glanced over at the two of them acting all lovey-dovey, feeling absolutely furious on the inside. Without another word, he stood up abruptly, clearly annoyed. He did not want to stay for another second. He said goodbye with a sharp tone. Grandma, it is late. I am heading out. He was boiling with rage, gritting his teeth. I have never been this embarrassed in front of people. It is infuriating. 1 minute she was on my side, and now she is practically pushing me out. Phi lamb, I will introduce you to a nice girl later. Do not be sad. He turned to leave, vowing he would not let this go. Just you wait. Security guard or chairman, whatever. It was already 8:30 p.m. My Hoa stepped out of the kitchen and gently reminded her. Mom, it is late. Go get some rest. You can talk more tomorrow. Hong An laughed, her voice trailing off with regret. Oh boy, time flies way too fast. I have not even talked enough with my grandson-in-law yet. Wang Tran swallowed hard, forced to just smile. Grandson-in-law? That escalated quickly. I mean, I used to be her brother's squad leader, for crying out loud. Hong An stayed a bit longer and suddenly dropped a tough question. Grandson, tell me, do you live together? He thought of their shared house and answered honestly, not realizing the misunderstanding. Yes, we all live together. She covered her mouth and giggled, clearly excited. Thin Phi felt like she had been scorched. She jumped up and quickly explained, Grandma, do not listen to his nonsense. We just stay at Thi Ti's place, not in the same room. A little while later, seeing everyone still sitting there, my host smiled and urged them again. Why are you all still sitting here chatting? Thin Phi, Wang Tran, go get some rest. Your room is to the east. Thi Ti can stay in Thin Phi's room. Thin Phi nearly screamed in frustration. Mom, not you too. They are not staying over tonight. Grandma looked surprised and asked why. She quickly scrambled for an excuse. Something came up at the office. Wang Tran and Thi Ti have to rush back. They were just stopping by quickly. She frowned, thinking to herself that she absolutely could not stay with a beast like Wang Tran. Mai Hoa tilted her head and looked at him for confirmation. Is that true, Wang Tran? Wang Tran shook his head, intentionally contradicting Thin Phi. Auntie, that is not true at all. He thought to himself, you guys used me. Now I'm getting something out of it. Kick me out? No way. Thin Phi cut him off, quickly using Thi Ti as a human shield. Mom, do not listen to his nonsense. They really have work. If you do not believe me, ask Thi Ti. Thin Phi clasped her hands, her face pleading for Thi Ti to help her out. But then Wang Tran's threatening message flashed in her mind, making things very awkward for her. After weighing her options, Thi Ti decided to betray her friend to save herself. Auntie, there is no work. Everything at the office is finished. We are staying here tonight. Mai Hoa smiled with satisfaction. Good, I did not clean that room for nothing. Come on, let me show you the way. By the time Wang Tran entered the room, it was 9:30 p.m. He noticed a family photo by the bed. Thi Ti watched him sprawl out on her bed, feeling annoyed. How long exactly do you plan on staying in my room? She snapped. What will it take for you to leave? Wang Tran tilted his head, acting innocent. Why should I swap rooms with Thi Ti? Then he purposely annoyed her by stretching out and taking up the entire bed. The bed is big and soft, plus I have a beauty right here. Swapping rooms secretly means waiting for the elders to fall asleep. It is too much work. Suddenly, a pillow flew right into his face. Thin Phi sat down on the bed, giving him a sharp look. Stop talking nonsense. When are you going to pay me back for helping you? Wang Tran playfully raised his hands in surrender. Fine, for a beauty like you, I will compromise. But you made me pretend to be your boyfriend. At least give me some kind of reward, then I will leave. She immediately got defensive, crossing her arms. What reward? Do not get greedy now. He suddenly jumped up and moved closer to her. Thin Phi turned pale, stammering in a total panic. Wait, what are you doing? What do you want? Wang Tran laughed mischievously and made a bizarre request. Relax, what are you thinking? Your mind is so dirty. I am just curious what your bra size is. Tell me, and then I will switch rooms. Thin Phi stayed on guard, eyes wide. What? She grabbed a pillow to cover herself. Blushing, she asked him, why on earth would you even ask me that? He flopped onto the bed, totally chill, and started roasting her. Fine, keep your secrets. My night just got a whole lot better. Hey wifey, time for bed. She narrowed her eyes, skeptical as ever. If she actually told him, would he really pack up and leave the room? He just leaned back with his hands behind his head, eyes shut, giving a lazy grunt. Her cheeks were bright red, and she could barely get a single word out. Whoa! She squeezed her pillow tight and suddenly yelled. No way, I'm not saying it. Watching her lose her cool like that, he just covered his mouth and started cracking up. Ha ha! He sat up and threw her a bone. All right, I'll back off. Look at you, your face is literally glowing red. She was so ticked off she gripped her pillow and launched it right at his head, but he just leaned out of the way. The pillow hit the nightstand hard, knocking a photo frame onto the floor. He shot her a dirty look. Whoa, it was just a joke. Why are you attacking me? Then, He reached down to pick up whatever just fell. He checked it out for a second and nodded. Solid quality, not a scratch. He ran a thumb over the guy's face in the picture, his voice suddenly getting real serious. Your dad was actually a pretty good-looking dude back in the day. She looked down, her hands tightening up without even realizing it. But flashbacks hit her hard. He raised an eyebrow, thinking to himself, was there some kind of accident? He turned to look at her, showing a rare moment of total honesty. Hey, when there's time, I want to take you somewhere. She paused, her eyes searching his, then gave a tiny nod. Okay, but listen, I've got questions. A lot of them. And I think you're the only one with the answers. Without even blinking, he went for it. Go ahead, lay it on me. She tried to piece it all together in her head. Look, I know you're way more than just some random bodyguard. You're hiding a lot of stuff. He looked totally busted, like a kid caught stealing from the cookie jar. Huh? You caught me already? My actual job is fashion design. This outfit? Totally a gift. I'm just real casual about what I wear. She stepped closer, staring him down like she was interrogating a suspect. The dress my mom wore, you're the one who sent it, right? They locked eyes, each trying to figure out what the other was thinking. After a long, awkward silence, he finally gave in. Yeah, it was me. Didn't think you'd catch on so fast. She tilted her head, her eyes going sharp. It wasn't that hard. Think about it. Who sends high-end designer clothes to the middle of nowhere? And that money every month? That's you too, isn't it? Why? He shrugged, not even bothering to lie anymore. Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. She held up her hand, counting off the evidence finger by finger. I mean, you weren't exactly being subtle about it. You think I'm stupid? The way you carved that duck looks just like my dad's style. Plus, you called my mom sister-in-law. And another thing, before she could finish, he threw his hands up in surrender. Fine, fine. I admit it. I knew your father. She grabbed his sleeve, her eyes filling with a heavy, unshakable sadness. Then tell me, my dad, did he really die in some random accident? He gripped the photo frame, wishing he'd found a better time for this. He looked at the man in the picture, his face darkening as the memories flooded back. Actually, your dad and I were brothers in arms. He was the best elite special forces soldier in China, easily the top guy in the whole squad. He traced the photo, his voice sounding heavy with regret. A man like that, there's no way he'd die in a simple accident. He gave his life on the battlefield to save mine. Without him, I wouldn't be here. She wiped away a tear and immediately asked, that place you mentioned, is that it? He looked her straight in the eyes, completely serious. The battlefield. On the wall, the clock quietly ticked past 11:30 p.m. Out in the empty hallway, He was glued to the door, listening. She held her breath, trying not to make a sound. It's late and they still haven't swapped rooms. Are they seriously sleeping together? Let me hear. Suddenly, the door clicked and swung open. She lost her balance and crashed right into him, letting out a yelp. He froze for a second, totally confused. Thee, what are you doing out here? You feeling lonely or something? Her face turned bright red and she yelled to cover her embarrassment. You're the lonely one. I just noticed you hadn't moved to the other room yet. Her voice died out as she caught sight of something. A second later, she screamed, covering her chest and bolted back to her room like a hurricane. You creep. Sheng Fai, kick him out right now. She gently closed the door and gave a polite goodnight. From the hallway, his voice came back cool and calm. Good night. He looked at his hand, thinking to himself, well, it's not exactly like a movie star's, but it'll do. The next morning, a brand new day started peacefully. Maiho's gentle voice drifted in from the front yard. Here's some peanuts and sweet potatoes. Don't be shy, take more. She watched them get ready for the car, clearly not wanting to say goodbye yet. You only stayed one day. Why the rush? She sighed, explaining they had urgent business. At the car, he turned and gave a wave. Bye, Auntie. Thi forced a big smile and waved back like crazy. Auntie, we'll definitely come back to visit next time. They headed back toward the city. The car hadn't been on the road long before her gossip side started itching. Hey, talk to me. What happened between you and her last night? Come on, spill. The way she looked at you this morning. She grabbed his sleeve and started shaking it like a kid wanting candy. Tell me now. I'm dying of curiosity here. He gripped the wheel, his face tight with stress. Would you stop it? I'm trying to drive. Suddenly, a stern voice boomed from a loudspeaker. Vehicle ahead, pull over immediately. He didn't stop, just kept cruising forward. A deep voice came through the speaker again, this time sounding like a direct order. I repeat, slow down and stop the car. He narrowed his eyes at the road ahead, wondering what the heck was going on. They both hopped out of the car. She looked ahead, looking totally confused and a little worried. What's the deal? Hong Kai stepped out, his every move oozing power and authority. His face was colder than ice, and he was carrying some heavy equipment. Seeing that, she whispered in fear, Whose bad side did we end up on this time? He just stood there, totally unfazed by the guy's intense vibe. Who knows? Maybe we accidentally stepped on some big shot's toes or something. He stopped right in front of him, his gaze freezing cold. He tilted his head, acting like he couldn't care less. And, suddenly, the guy slammed his weapon against the car window with a loud bang and yelled, "You're exactly the guy I'm looking for." She let out a scream when she saw her precious car getting trashed. "Oh no, my window." The car door slammed shut. She was fuming. "Who do you think you are? What do you want? I don't care if you're an officer. You can't just go around smashing my car." He glared at her with pure contempt. "I am Major Chuang Hong Kai of the military prosecution team." He casually put his hands in his pockets and asked, "So, Major, why exactly are you looking for me?" He grit his teeth and suddenly grabbed his collar. "Don't play dumb with me. If you hadn't raced my sister, she wouldn't have a broken leg right now. Today, you're going to feel exactly what she's going through." She panicked, rushing over to them and shouting, "You have no idea what you're talking about. Miu Miu was the one who dragged him into that race. She couldn't handle losing, so she cheated. He actually saved her life." Her eyes filled with fear as she remembered the whole mess. If it wasn't for him, she might be. He suddenly shoved her aside before she could finish, growling every word. "Get back. Stop screaming in my ear." She let out a cry of pain. She sat on the ground, glaring up at him. "You think you're so tough? I can have people at your unit arrest you tomorrow." He tilted his head, looking at him with a challenge. "In this city, nobody touches me." He gripped the hand on his collar, his eyes going dark. "Chuang Hongkai, you are way too arrogant. Being the party secretary's son is powerful, but you cannot just destroy property without cause. How will you pay for this glass?" Hongkai did not wait, lunging forward with a punch while screaming, "Pay! Let us see if you are even alive by tomorrow." Vuong Tran dodged with ease. This guy was ice cold and ready to rumble. A split second later, he buried a fist in the guy's gut. Vuong Tran watched him double over, honestly surprised at his own power. Hong Kai lunged again, much more cautious this time. He realized this kid was not just some amateur he could push around. This was going to be a real fight. Hong Kai slid forward, full of rage, determined to end this quickly with one move. The goons nearby started cheering like they were watching a title fight. "The captain is making his move. Watch closely and learn something. Boys." It had been a long time since the captain actually fought someone. Everyone expected a quick win, but their jaws dropped when Vuong Tran dodged effortlessly. He placed a hand on the guy's shoulder and smirked. "That was a nasty move, Captain. If that had landed, I would be a vegetable for life." Hong Kai was absolutely fuming, staring him down and growling one word. "You." Without hesitation, he spun and slammed an elbow into his chest. Hong Kai flew back like a broken toy. The goons panicked as they saw him lying there motionless. They rushed over, screaming his name over and over. "Captain, can you hear us? His breathing is getting really shallow. How could this kid have enough power to take down the captain like that? This is bad news." Instantly, they all drew their weapons. Every single barrel was pointed right at Vuong Tran as one of them yelled, "You dare hurt our captain and leave him in this state. You are not leaving this place alive today." Vuong Tran just shoved his hands in his pockets, looking like a total villain. "Are you guys blind? Which one of you actually saw me hit him? You are just making stuff up now. You might be fine, but our captain is in critical condition." Hong Kai was in terrible shape. He turned to the soldiers and barked orders. "You five, get the captain to the nearest hospital right now. The rest of you, stay here with me." With half the squad still standing behind him, he puffed out his chest with fake confidence and growled, "Let us see if anyone is brave enough to try and take this gun." Vuong Tran sighed. "You should know, I hate it when my own people point guns at me." He reached out and grabbed the barrel, calmly adjusting it until it was pointed right at his own heart. "If you are ready for the consequences, then go ahead and pull the trigger." Besides, Vuong Tran added, "Once Hong Kai wakes up, he will not cover for you. He is not going to protect you for this. What happens to a soldier who shoots an innocent civilian? You are looking at 20 or 30 years in a cell." The guy's confidence vanished the second the law was mentioned. Vuong Tran raised a finger, striking while the iron was still burning hot. "We are all brothers. I do not want to fight you. 5 seconds. Move." 1. He did not want to waste time with these clowns, so he raised a second finger. 2. The sound of the countdown echoing in his ears made the soldier start frantically calculating his odds of survival. He was right. If I pull this trigger, the captain will just throw me to the wolves to save himself. Just as the count of 3 echoed out, the soldier finally came to his senses and lowered the weapon. He could not take the risk. Vuong Tran smiled and tapped his chest. "I was a soldier too. Remember this. Never point a gun at your brothers." He walked away. "Thi, let us go." Suddenly, Hai Min raised his rifle. "You think you can just leave after what you did?" A shot rang out. A loud bang sent birds scattering into the sky. Blood dripped onto the ground. He clutched his arm and screamed in total agony. Hyman shook, but Wang Tran stayed ice cold, his fingers still on the trigger. He handled things decisively and hopped back in the car, leaving the wreckage behind as they continued their trip. After a few miles, Thithi looked over with wide, shimmering eyes full of admiration. That shot you took earlier was so cool. You are actually an incredible marksman. You know that? Wang Tran watched the road. Nothing to brag about. It was just business. If he was not a soldier, he would have lost that hand forever. Thithi worried, but he patted her head. Trust me, I know what I am doing. Relax. Hong Kai will not walk for 6 months. Ribs and lungs do not heal fast. Suddenly, the phone on the seat started vibrating like crazy, cutting their conversation short. It looked like the news she wanted because she could not stop grinning. Great, I understand. The second she hung up, she started screaming with excitement. Wang Tran, they found Lu Heavy, but then she threw a bucket of cold water on the mood. The guy is not talking. Wen Van says his interrogation failed and we need to get back there and handle it ourselves. At least that is some good news. That will do for now. We need to get back immediately. Not a single second to waste. He slammed the gas pedal down, and the car roared forward under the blazing sun reflecting off the city skyscrapers. Van Thao stepped out with a wide grin as soon as he saw them. Vice President Wang, finally. He pointed to the man sitting nearby and introduced him respectfully. Vice President, this is Lu Heavy. Heavy stared Wang Tran down with a steady gaze. His voice did not shake as he said, I do not care who you bring in here. I know nothing. Wang Tran signaled the others to leave. This guy is a tough nut to crack. Thi, Van Thao, you two head out for a minute. Give us some space. He sat down and went straight for the throat. My name is Wang Tran. I just took over as the vice president of Qdong International. Forgive me for being blunt, but I need to know the truth. Why exactly did you decide to quit your job at True Loy? Heavy scowled, his face full of annoyance. Why should I tell you anything? Wang Tran did not flinch, calmly taking a slow sip of his water. He set the glass down and locked eyes with the man, his gaze cold as ice. I really do not get it. What do you gain by taking down Qdong? You obviously planted that chip at True Loy. Why else would you suddenly walk away from such a high-paying job? Heavy shrugged and replied in a flat voice. I went to Italy to look after my daughter in college. No other reason. Wang Tran tapped his fingers on the table. You have a high IQ, but zero common sense. Smart people usually make the worst life choices. I am rational. Heavy snapped. Wang Tran just gave him a mocking smile. Really? You betrayed the company that raised you the second someone offered a little bribe. Heavy took a deep breath, trying to hide his nerves behind a fake smile. I can see what you are doing. You are just setting a trap and waiting for me to jump in. Well, I am not falling for it. Wang Tran leaned in, his eyes cutting through the BS. He knew exactly why this guy flipped. It was all for his daughter. He stayed chill, hands on the table. No secrets here. My old life as a special ops soldier taught me interrogation. I can read faces like an open book. Wang Tran ripped off the mask. Look, I asked you 7 questions, and your face changed every single time. Honestly, I do not even need your words anymore. The truth is written all over you. Your face says it all, Mr. Liu. You are an honest guy, so just spill it. Liu looked down, fighting with himself for a second before shaking his head. I have got nothing to say, he sighed. Without flinching, Wang Tran slid a photo across the table. Is this your daughter in Italy? The second Liu saw her face, he lost it. Tin. He choked out, completely panicked. His face went pale, a mix of pure rage and terror. You are stalking my girl? Do not you dare touch her. She is my entire world, he barked. Wang Tran just dropped more proof. Those thugs used her to blackmail you into leaving home. He scattered photos of the girl being followed. Liu was shook. Who the hell are these people? He stammered. He gave him a cold look before answering. Obviously, these are the guys holding your daughter over your head like a leash. One wrong move and she is gone. Liu leaned on the table, desperate. Why would they do this? Wang Tran ripped a photo in half. Chill out. You are lucky I am here. I already took care of those creeps for you. Liu still looked skeptical. Since they were alone, Wang Tran just went for it. Consider this a favor for a favor. Just tell me the truth. Why go through her instead of just hitting you? What secret are you hiding? Liu stared at the desk. It is my tech, he muttered. I have a filter core design. I figured out how to make a filter that never wears out. No materials wasted, lasts forever. That is what they are dying to get their hands on. Wang Tran relaxed, hands in his pockets. A product that lasts forever? If filters do not need replacing, the big corporations will go bust. Even our own company would take a hit. Seems like you know way too much about those American water filters. Liu went quiet again. Wang Tran snapped his fingers. Come on, do not leave me hanging now. That is just teasing. Take a look at this, then decide if you want to keep talking. Suddenly, the door clicked open with a sharp sound. Lou froze. His daughter was standing right there. Tintin, how are you here? She looked at him with teary eyes and whispered, Dad. She ran over and hugged him tight. Lou was a mess of emotions. He turned to Wang Tran, confused. What do you people want from us? He walked over to calm them down. See? I can keep her safe. You do not have to worry about a thing anymore. Then he started counting off his demands. My terms are actually very simple. 1, you work for our company and I keep her safe. 2, you tell me everything. I want to find out who is really pulling the strings here. After a second, Lou nodded. Fine, I am in. He looked at his daughter with pure love. As long as she is safe, I will do whatever you want. Wang Tran let out a smug little smirk. Talking to smart people is so much easier. Do not worry, our company takes care of its own. He turned to leave and gave his assistant a look. Wouldn't handle the rest. Van Thou nodded respectfully. Consider it done, Vice President. Thi beamed at him, her eyes full of thanks. I owe you one. Again. Wang Tran rubbed his nose, looking smug. Do not mention it. That is just how the Vice President of this company rolls. Is your dad doing any better? This whole situation is still a mess, and the enemy might be dangerous. Her face fell, worry clouding her eyes. Not really. He is still on an IV drip just to stay alive. I just hope he gets through this. He patted her head like she was a kid. Everything is going to be fine. I've got your back. We need to wrap this up before he wakes up. Let us make this company stronger than ever. Thi blushed, whispering to herself. Thanks, Wang Tran. It is really good to have you here. He cupped his ear. What? Did you say I am the hottest guy alive? She stomped on his foot. You jerk. Can you stay serious for once? She turned and walked off. Back to work, she tossed back. He watched her leave, totally clueless. Man, I will never understand women, he muttered. His phone buzzed. It was a call from Trung Min Kai. A few hours later at a fancy restaurant, the waiter served their food. Here is your order, he said politely. Wang Tran looked like he was being tortured. He sighed, miserable. Guess I just was not born for this high-class lifestyle, he complained. Wearing a suit and worrying about table manners is just too much. Honestly, I miss the street food stalls where I can actually relax. Min Kai stopped eating and looked up, smiling softly. Everyone has their own path. You might even start to enjoy it once you settle in. You might even get sick of street food eventually. Just look around. How many people in this fancy place do you think have ever eaten at a stall? She went back to her meal while Wang Tran kept grumbling. Then they are all fakes. I am a straight shooter. If a beautiful girl did not invite me, I would never step foot in a place like this. Min Kai looked a bit flustered and quickly changed the subject. Don't be like that. I asked you here to talk about the Diamond Project. Wang Tran was caught off guard and just kept nodding his head. She sat up straight, looking totally prepared. I have already locked in 14 prime spots in the capital after finishing the lease negotiations. Next is the decor. We also need to hit the ads in newspapers and magazines hard. We will have to slash prices to really compete with the other big diamond brands out there. She kept going, showing off her serious business brain. Their sales are steady, but this is a total market war. Even to Thien cannot hold out forever. Wang Tran just sat there with his chin in his hand, staring at her, dazed. He was impressed. She really is the chair of the Lam Hai group. When it comes to business, she turns into a completely different person. He had no clue someone was burning a hole in his back with their eyes. Thien watched them, feeling sick. What is Min Kai doing here? Are they actually dating? Laughing and smiling? This is a joke. Right then, Hai Tin walked in looking all happy. She beamed at him. Thien, I am back. He did not answer and just stood up fast. She got worried. What are you looking at? He marched over to their table without a word. She scrambled after him, yelling, Where are you going? Thien slammed his hand on the table. He smirked at Wang Tran with a look of pure attitude. What a coincidence, Wang Tran. Fancy seeing you in a place like this. Wang Tran leaned back, looking amused. Crazy timing, right? Min Kai and I were just grabbing some lunch. Did not expect to run into you. Without waiting for an invite, Thien pulled up a chair next to Min Kai. Since we are all here, let us just make it a double date. He glanced at Hai Tin and pointed a finger. I will sit with you, but I do not like her. She glared at him thinking, You think I like you? You broke my belt last time and we are still not even. Still, she was kind of glad he spoke up after that embarrassing mess earlier. Old man too is really feeling me now. She starts remembering what he promised. Hai Tin is smart man. Stepped up when it mattered for Thin Yen. Not bad, kid. I actually like your style. Wang Tran crosses his arms, looking at her like she's crazy. He is low-key mocking her. After everything I said, she is still grinning? This woman is seriously something else. Right then, Thien Yen raises his glass and calls out to Vuong. He gives a little smirk and tries to smooth things over for Hai Tin. Look, last time was just a fluke. Consider this my apology. It is your first time in the capital city, so let us just bury the hatchet and be friends. Vuong immediately puts his hand up, shutting that whole vibe down. Honestly, I do not get it. Kim Kwang's my rival. We are fighting over the same market, so why would we be buddies? Thien Yen keeps holding the glass out, being patient. Look, business is business. Friends are friends. Those are two separate things. He makes his stance crystal clear. Sorry, but I am not going to sit here and play pretend with you. His face goes dark, and he lets out a little annoyed smirk. You are a straight shooter, Mr. Vuong. You are definitely interesting. He stands up, straightens his jacket, and finds an excuse to bail. Suddenly, I remembered some business I need to handle. I will leave you two to it. He pulls out an invitation and slides it on the table. He looks at Minky with a hopeful vibe. Next month, on the 21st, is my grandfather's birthday. Minky, you have to be there. As soon as he finishes, Thien Yen bolts. Hai Tin scrambles after him. Hey, slow down. Thien Yen, wait up for me. Minky holds the card, looking unsure. It is his grandfather's birthday party. Vuong Tron, what do you think? Should I actually go to this? Over on the other side, some guy falls and does not even apologize. Instead, he starts screaming. This is burning me, you idiot. People nearby start whispering and gossiping. What is the deal? Looks like the waiter accidentally spilled a drink on him. He did not have to freak out like that. Though, that guy is just straight up mean. The server is terrified, kneeling and begging for forgiveness. I am so sorry, I did not mean it. Vuong Tran walks right over. He is holding a teapot, looking totally fed up. Look, begging and bowing is not going to earn you any respect. If you are a man, you have to stand tall when it counts. Then he looks at the waiter. Come here. I will show you how to handle this. The guy wipes his face, looking furious. You want to die or something? What do you think you are doing? Vuong Tran shuts the teapot down, totally chill. Just teaching you some basic human manners, obviously. This is Chinese territory. You think you can just come here and act like a jerk? I will pay for the mess, but you are going to apologize to this waiter. DM balls his fist and lunges. He smirks. This is hilarious. One monkey trying to save another monkey? Let us see if you have what it takes. Vuong keeps his cool and slips the punch effortlessly. Feeling that punch, he realizes this guy is strong and incredibly fast, way more dangerous than Truong Hong Kai. He sees an opening and lands a palm strike right on the guy's chest. Every move this guy makes feels like he is trying to kill.